One of the most controversial professional Overwatch matches in recent history, the EMEA OWCS finals was exciting, but very strange, not only with the compositional choices, but the way things were being played. ENCE were not favorites, but certainly something that we would have expected to perform a little bit better. I won't spoil the exact result, but you'll have to check it out in here. But ultimately, it came down to a big map 5 banger where there was a lot of questions about why some of the compositional choices for both teams and then the execution of those compositions, because Gunba, surely Coach of the Year, would make better decisions than this, right? Well, there's actually a lot of nuance and a lot of discussion here, not just about the compositional choice, but actually the players playing the compositions. And fair warning, I'm going to be pretty harsh in this review. This is not necessarily a commendation on, or condemnation rather, on many of the players that were playing, but how those players were playing in these matches. And I'm going to go very specifically about what exactly went wrong and why things went wrong. There's a lot of really interesting information. I recommend you checking out Yiska's interview with Coach Gunba. I'll link that in the description. That goes over why some of the compositional choices. And I'm also going to be delving deep into that and showing that maybe it's not quite as silly as you may think. This match has a lot of ramifications about not only the EMEA EU region moving forward, but also about the potential upswing of some of the players that were involved in this match and the potential they may have moving forward. So this match was maybe not necessarily the most exciting match, although I enjoyed it, but definitely one where there's going to be potential long-term ramifications for the meta. Ramifications, funny I should use that term. Ram, get it? Anyway, enjoy the review. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll chat with y'all later. Let's talk about push and pull. Because one of the things that you guys all know about is map control and off angles and all that kind of stuff. But one thing that we don't talk about enough is push and pull, which I would describe push and pull as the science of the NA hive mind. Educated NA hive mind isn't just about 3-2-1 tempoing, pushing forward, target focus, timing, and all that kind of stuff. NA hive mind is also the ability to go in and the ability to go out. Back and forth. The question is when is it appropriate to go in? The question is when is it appropriate to go out? Let me give you guys an example. The enemy team uses Kiriko ultimate. You don't have or don't want to use Kiriko ultimate. You back up. Like the concept of turns, similar. Yes, you back up. They've used an ultimate. We don't want to use ours or we don't have one, so we back up. And the ability to quickly disengage in one direction is really, really important, especially when you're running a Colosseo composition because the nature of speed is both the in and out. The push aspect, now that we've talked about the pull, is simply saying, hey, we have Kiriko ultimate. Let's quickly, without giving them the opportunity to disengage, quickly close the distance and catch them and kill them before they're able to disengage. Push and pull. If you have a disadvantage, backing out. If you have an advantage, going in. The thing that makes a lot of these NA teams really good at that is they're very decisive, very quick, and very confident about knowing when and how to push. Now, there is a team that you guys might be familiar with called the Dallas Fuel of old, where the Dallas Fuel were historically very good at push and pull, even though they were not the quote-unquote NA hive mind. The Dallas Fuel were phenomenal with their Colosseo comps with the ult economy, tracking when they had an ult advantage and when they had a disadvantage and setting up these kites and these pushes and these pulls and so on. And so what ended up happening is a lot of these brawlier style compositions, these Colosseo style compositions, they were really, really good at kiting ultimates and pushing ultimates. Do you guys remember the stage 1 or stage 5 grand finals, or season 5 rather, where it was the Dallas Fuel and the San Francisco Shock, right? Dallas Fuel won that game through their ability to disengage pull ult disadvantages. They were able to quickly anticipate stuff that was going to be a problem and disengage those ults. Now, we've talked a lot about ultimates, but let's talk more about this. Push and pull isn't just about ultimates. In fact, most of the time, it's not about ultimates. It's about cooldowns. Because in brawl trades, let's say we're playing in Orisa Mirror, and your superior off angle forces my fortify early. Because I no longer have my fortify, what do I have to do? If I'm the Orisa team, what do I have to do? To give up space. Does that mean that I've run all the way crying back to mommy? No, but I do need to disengage and need to give up space. That's the pull. Whereas if I see the enemy Orisa waste that fortify, what must I do? I must close the distance. I must push to take space. It means to push and pull. And the idea behind the push and pull, and this is really where off angles and push and pull marry, is there's two ways. Number one, how did I force your fortify? How did we get a fortify advantage? Is it a mechanical decision, strategic decision? A lot of the time, it's an off angle. Superior space control gives you cooldown advantages that you push. Or if you fail to control space, you put yourself at a resource disadvantage, which forces you to pull. You guys got me? But if you push a cooldown advantage, or you have an ultimate that you push with, you're not just pushing to get kills, because more often than not, good teams will just kite it out. You're not pushing to get kills, you're pushing to get space. So let's draw this with the Microsoft Paint, because everyone loves Microsoft Paint. I am Team Red. We have a Sojourn Lucio off angle, and I have my Kiri whatever tracer here, whatever. The enemy team is a little bit dull. They don't have the same level of off angle control. Who is going to force a cooldown advantage most likely with this setup? Team Red, right? So then whose Fortify is going to get forced first? Team Blue. So Team Blue is going to push back. So as Team Blue pushes back, Team Red's goal is not necessarily to push, right? What are they looking for? They're looking to take a deeper and better off angle. And this is where things start to snowball, where the more your angles matter, the more cooldown advantages you get, and the deeper and deeper you push, and the better and better angle until somebody freaking dies. The problem with taking off angles, you heard me right, Spilo is saying the problem with taking off angles is what happens if for whatever reason Team Blue forces our Fortify first. Or they use a Kitsune Rush and we have to back up. How does Team Red back up? Yes, Lucio's not with Orisa, instead of supporting an off angle. The answer is they either don't back up at all or they back up awkwardly. We got to split over here and then, okay, well, we're splitting it. Maybe what if we split in different directions? And this is the weakness of taking off angles, is that when you are moving rapidly, rotating left, right, push, pull, it becomes a little bit trickier to actually make those movements as a whole. So you have to decide, are we playing more for our ability to quickly push, in which case a grouped stack is generally easier to push and pull with, or are we playing more for a static advantage? Static advantage, in which case we can start to spread our wings. And chat, this is not that complicated. This makes common sense, right? Like if you think about it in a wartime advantage, World War I, when you dig a trench, you're stuck. You have a massive defensive advantage, but digging a trench means you're stuck. The more grouped and cohesive your unit, the faster they're able to mobilize, but the worse they are in combat. That's why, in a lot of ways, guerrilla warfare is so powerful, because guerrilla warfare is the IRL consistent application of a decentralized combat. And it means it's very difficult to control, very difficult to move, but very, very powerful. Yes, Rag, I enjoy playing paintball and laser tag especially. The stuff applies to laser tag as well. So, all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, is when you're talking about the Lucio comp, off angles absolutely matter, but also your ability to push and pull cooldown and ultimate disadvantages is extremely important. Now, let's take a look at the compositional matchup. And once we do that, we can start to talk about what went wrong. Now, the key thing here, guys, is obviously all that strategy stuff aside. Some of you guys are like, oh, typical Spilo. He's off the goop, right? He's going to write another novel about off angles and pushing and pulling. But the thing is, it's like, once you understand the theory, and you don't even have to understand the theory, you can then take that theory and extrapolate very, very, very actionable, simple, basic things. Like, let me just give you guys an example. I have not seen this match, okay? I know the final result, but I have not seen this match. We could see from this, when, I don't know, TM has an ultimate disadvantage, they tend to split too deeply and Calyx leaves KSAA. when they need him to kite KSA out. Or when they have an old advantage, Calyx doesn't stack with his core enough. He takes off angles when instead he needed to be speeding his ram into backline. Or Vistola too often uses Fortify and then does not anticipate being pushed. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's very specific actionable feedback that we can give to these players that they don't even need to understand the big picture, but just understand what we can pull from it. Can I OBS label the team names? But that's going to flip-flop back and forth. Okay, so I'm actually curious how much Orisa do we see here? Chat, how much Orisa do we see here? Is it all Orisa? It's a little bit of Malga. So let's talk about this matchup really quick here. I don't know if... I'm surprised. The Orisa is an interesting swap here. So let me talk to you a little bit about what I understand of the tank matchup right now. Orisa versus Ram seems relatively 50-50. I think it depends on what you're playing versus. Obviously, Orisa here makes me think that they were expecting TM to go Malga, and they didn't. So that would be my expectation of why the Orisa. And then they go, okay, they're not running Orisa, or they're not running Malga. We're going to go our own Malga instead, okay? Because the Malga versus Ramatra is a very, very favorable matchup for the Malga. Let me explain why. The Malga's ability to farm Nemesis form and keep the Ramatra in a block cycle is crucial. Because it's very easy for the Malga to just simply focus the Ram down and trade favorably. The Malga doesn't need to focus DPS or supports. The Malga just needs to keep the Ram blocking and bleeding resource. And he doesn't need healing while he does it. The reason why we go SYMMETRA here. Now, I highly recommend Yiska's interview with Gunba. I was also there the day before when Commander X had Gunba in. And the idea behind the SYMMETRA is really simple. You have a character that generally does not want to play versus Ramatra. But if you have Cardiac and you have the ability to reduce damage plus the lifesteal, you might as well abuse that, right? Cardiac Overdrive is what keeps SYMMETRA relevant versus Ramatra. Yes, this will be a video. So we're going to talk about the matchup that we have here. Chat, which team should have better off-angle control? Which team is better equipped for superior push and pull? Pretty obvious, right? What? Red, right. Now, obviously, you're thinking, well, there's no Tracer. Yes, that's true. But the Kiriko, the double poke DPS, we're going to be opening up off angles to try and whittle down Team Blue, okay? Team Blue needs to rotate and put pressure on those off angles as a unit as much as possible, or utilize their Tracer to keep pressure on those off angles so they don't do too much damage to the core. We'll talk about the Malga Sen when we get there. Because from what we know from Gunba, it was largely about execution. And without looking at the match yet, the theory of Malga Sim can definitely work. I will explain why. Do you see a problem here, chat? What problem do you guys see here? One of these things is not like the other. No angles. No angles. You, as Team Red, will not be able to brute force Team Blue off of this point. Analog, thank you for the sub. It won't happen. Enjoy your new badge, by the way. You need your Echo or Sojourn, probably your Echo because she's got the slightly better mobility. You need your Echo here with a little bit of Kiriko pocket potentially. If you do not put your Echo here, you will not be able to force Team Blue off the point. I have no idea what KEVSTER is doing. And because of that, now look at Vistola. That is the wrong person. Being poked out by an off angle. Do you notice that? One team has an off angle, the other team doesn't. Team Blue doesn't even have an advantage in the off angle because they don't have the ability to support the off angle from range. They don't have the Kiriko. Moira can't reach there, and yet they're losing to the off angle. They have a 2, actually almost 3-point pincer here with Quartz, and Team Red is failing to take any space at all. Why can't Red brute force Blue? Because they don't have an off angle. They can't afford it. Team Blue will park here and live and live and live while the Tracer tickles and tickles and tickles. And how is the Echo going to shoot the Ramatra when he's hiding behind a pillar? Permanent cover, right? Permanent cover. You have to deny the cover. You have to split the cover. And they're not doing that. Now, we've seen something, chat. We've seen... Okay, so now they're going to push. Ramatra's here. And do you see the problem here again? Oh, there's an angle. There's an angle. But it's been too late. There's an angle. KEVSTER takes an angle, and he does good work with it, too. Look at that. Good work, good work. Lots of attention, lots of resource, right? But it's too late. And the same thing with Kai, by the way, as well. Look at Kai. Takes the angle, it's too late. And that's it. You cannot win Overwatch like this. It's a comp thing. Yeah, it's a comp thing. It's a comp thing. So KEVSTER goes, all right, I'm going to control this off angle with Tracer. It's a fine swap. The Echo, I anticipate, is something that's more of a priority versus Malga because it's easier to whittle down his HP than it is versus a Ramatra. In addition, Malga's a really, really solid copy. Ramatras have good copy too, and so on. So he's going to go Tracer. Now, surely they have an off angle here. They're going to roll out high. You guys are probably already... I do have a tendency to favor one team over the other, especially the team that lost. So that's going to be like... This is going to be a relatively slightly biased review towards Team Red because I'm more interested in what went wrong for Team Red. Off angle here. Great. That's a lot of damage. Do you notice that even the way Team Blue has split their DPS, even though they're not like hard off angles, look at what Yubi's doing here. You see this? You see this? Pincer from here, Pincer from here. Even though they're not hard splits, it's putting Vestola at a massive HP deficit. And Vestola has to find a way to close the distance somehow or something, because otherwise it's just not going to work. Now, I also want to point out here, chat. I want to point out where should Masa be? Where should Masa be? Going back to our push-pull. Okay, go back to our push-pull. Does Team Red want to push right now? If the answer is yes, then he needs to be with Vestola. If the answer is no, because they don't have Kitsune, they don't have Beat, they don't have nothing, there's really nothing to push on, then the answer should be with Kev or should be with Kai. Vestola is too low to push. And the irony is that Vestola is too low to push because KEVSTER's not doing enough on the angle here. And he's not doing enough on the angle because he's not getting support. And I'll also point out as well that I don't think Kai's angle is as good as it could be either. Certainly there could be a little bit more patience from Team Red here as well. But they're getting poked out. They're getting poked out as a Moira Lucio comp. Inexcusable. There's the push. Where should Masa be? With Team. Now, the irony here is, how many of you guys have watched me coach Overwatched? One of the things that we talk about with Overwatched is whenever possible, I haven't been able to talk about this with J3 as much, but if you've heard me talk about it, is optimally when we push, we would like at least one angle. You know what I'm saying? To prevent them from kiting. Because if they're able to kite out safely without Kev tickling them in the back, that's a major issue. J3 on the angle, right. The problem is here is that we have a 5 stack. So unless Quartz gets javelined, then we're in trouble. Now, here's a question, chat. Do you think TM knew, I don't know what that amp was about. I guess more about the disengagement of the Tracer. Do you think TM tracked Kitsune Rush? If so, who's pulling here? All right. Right? Who's pulling? Blue. Right, blue should pull. Now, okay, I'm going to add another layer of complexity. You guys ready for this one? Sometimes with the Ramatra, you actually don't need to pull. Tell me why. Tell me why. Why, as the Ramatra comp, do you not need to pull? Think carefully. Who are you pulling? Who are you pulling? Block. Yep. You literally cannot kill him. You literally cannot kill him. So you could sit there, let your Ramatra be a punching bag. And the guys that need speed generally shouldn't need speed anyway. So as long as Quartz gets out, he's fine. And there it is. There it is. You see it? Now you're like, well, wait, he died, right? He died, right? Let's actually take a look at why he died. Why did he die? Why did he die? Can you guys see why he died? This is a really, really, really important thing in the mirror. Check this out. And this is, by the way, this is also going to be relevant with Ramatra versus Malga as well. He lost armor too quickly, 100%. Watch the Masa boop here. This is the most important play of this entire thing. Now, why is this important? Because he can continue to back up, right? No. Watch. Because he's booped in, look at his block. Do you see it? Masa's boop opened up the angle that ENCE never had. So ENCE fails to set up an off angle, but Masa speeding in with the push is what allowed them to actually get a budget Walmart angle on him. And now he's surrounded, and yeah, now he's dead. Now he's dead without speed. And because they're running Moira, there's no Suzu, he's dead. Now, the reason why that's important is that's not just relevant for Orisa. That's also relevant for Malga. And in fact, if you have Cardiac as Malga, you can run onto Ram, 180 slam, and shoot him in the back. And because you do so much damage, and because you're so tanky with Cardiac, you could force the Ramatra to turn around to block you and expose himself to the rest of your backline. Yeah, I agree. I don't think Calyx needed to use Amp there. You guys get what I'm saying? So this is something to keep an eye on moving forward. So they do pull. This fight is still theoretically winnable. Yubi's trying to stall. They still have the off angles. Red has to be really careful here. KEVSTER chases out Yubi. That's good. The Coalescence is used. They're keeping pressure on the squishies. Red is still unable to flip and still being pincered here. The pulse is great. And Red is just unable. Like, this is where it comes down to strictly target focus and the ability to quickly and finish people either on the point or outside the point. They didn't have any angles, and they didn't have the point flip. So this is the worst of both worlds. Worst of both worlds. Disaster. Absolute disaster for ENCE. One of the things that Gunba was saying is he was saying that first off, this match was like not that big of a deal points-wise. He's trying to work more about developing the team, the ability to play under pressure, the ability to play more of these more non-brawly style comps. But he did say that like that's one of the advantages of what team is running is it's one of those great match day compositions. There's not a lot of thinking. There's not a lot of splitting. It's just 3, 2, 1, good push, good pull, good target focus. That's it. And I do think that Team Red definitely has the disadvantage here. It is a harder. Oh, that's a great. Look at that. Look at that. They knew he had beat. They knew he had beat. I wouldn't say Yubi is necessarily a great mechanical tracer, but some of the team play from TM and the way that they're using Yubi is really good. Beat in. There's no beat to engage. This it's over. It really should be over right now. There it is. But yeah, it's a lot simpler to turn your brain off and just focus on targets. And I think that Team Red just did not have the expertise or knowledge to be able to execute this. Now, I'm going to go off in a little bit of a political segue here. By politics, I just mean like team culture and so on. Where I think this is partly like we all joke about like the Glads effect. I think this is what the problem with some of Team Red's players is. I think that we've got too many players here that do not understand these kind of concepts. KEVSTER, Kai are great players that don't understand these concepts. Too many of Glads was this whole push-pull NA. Like, if you want to talk about NA hivemind teams, it was the Glads. Not even necessarily a good educated NA hivemind. Stupid strategy, with good players. That's my opinion. And you can't be stupid when you're playing a comp like this. Especially with match nerves. Especially with match nerves. You can't be stupid. You got to be smart. You got to know your stuff. And by stupid, I don't mean like, okay, stupid's not a good word. Uneducated. Uneducated. Really great players. KEVSTER and Kai are S tier NA players. Especially historically, like the best. You're kidding yourself if you think otherwise. But they're struggling in their understanding of how to do this stuff. Yeah, Vice, exactly. But you know what Gunba said yesterday? Is he said he's going to put, I think he said the equivalent of like, I'm going to be putting KEVSTER on May. I'm going to be putting KEVSTER on Reaper. Like, we can't keep pretending like we're stupid players. There's nothing wrong with KEVSTER's brain. KEVSTER's a very intelligent player. He will figure it out. With good coaching and good leadership, they'll figure it out. But in the meantime, that's why Gunba's more willing to kind of like let this, because if you want to talk about the value of this match, guys, the value of this match is that Team Red can do this. We're idiots, guys. Like, oh my gosh, that's the value of this match. It's a kick in the pants. Reminder, right? I mean, even look at like what London's trying to do, right? Like what London's trying to do with their dive. Like London is considered right now to be up probably, at least when they're playing at most of the time, the best Western dive team besides Toronto. Right? I think Gunba was backing up that opinion. Like, obviously, Chase torched his team. Oblivion played really, really well. But I think more often than not, you would expect SSG to win that one. And that's an evolution of that team's identity. And I think it's a necessary evolution. I think that like you want to play to your strengths, but I also think that like you do need to kind of keep reinventing yourself a little bit and pushing your limits and your goals. And KEVSTER can't be a tracer one trick if he wants to be able to perform in OWCS. There's going to be too many situations when you need something other than tracer, and now is the time. It's going to happen somewhere. You can't keep pushing it off. Oh, well, it's a match. It matters too much. There's always going to be a match that matters a lot here. So, like, in the meantime, like, what match is worth the sacrifice? And I think Gunba was talking about like this one being the one that you would sacrifice. How big should hero pools be for pros, in your opinion? Whatever the meta needs. I think within reason, like you'd want to play. I mean, the answer is it's going to depend on what you're going for, really. Common sense. Being able to only play Tracer Genji at a high level is not good enough. You also need to play at least a couple of the projectile characters well. KEVSTER doesn't play Sombra well. KEVSTER doesn't necessarily play Mei well. KEVSTER doesn't necessarily play Reaper well. That's a problem. Should Tracer players be good at flex more than hit scan? Generally, because you have to learn the Tracer plus the projectile characters. Okay, again, I feel like this is ENCE expecting Malga with the Orisa comp. I don't know 100% how the Orisa does versus the Ramattra. I'll be frank with you guys. I think the Orisa can do very well with the Fortify, but I think beyond that, she gets weak. Again, the same thing with the Echo as well. I don't think that they would prefer to be an Echo versus this. Now, what did KSAA see to push? Fortify. That's what he saw. There's your push-pull, ladies and gentlemen. He saw Fortify. He wants to go. Fortify, he doesn't even need to secure the kill because you see the space that they've lost here?
The objective is now active.
Wait for it. Blackboard time. Do you guys see it? You guys see it? Team Blue tried to push because they saw Fortify. They didn't get the cooldown value that they wanted. They then froze and got pincered from 3 different angles. It's cooked.
The objective is now
Kai is literally just like chilling. There's your balance between push and pull, guys. You gotta be, if you do not get your value and you push and you sacrifice map control to do it, you get punished. Did KEVSTER bomb predict? I don't think I promise you that KEVSTER just threw crap. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yo Spilo, do pro DPS players like specialize into categories
he just threw it.
scan versus projectile players?
Yes.
Or flankers slash
Oh,
divers
generally
versus
projectile
snipers?
versus hit
Or
scan.
Can they all just play everything?
Generally projectile versus hit scan with some bleed through with characters like Tracer. There it is. Tracer flank. Do you notice the difference between these two pushes? Do you notice the difference between these two pushes? The last two fights. The question is, will blue be able to pull the Kitsune? He cheats, he pushes, he copies. He almost dies for it. What do you guys think? Do you think Team Blue got lucky? Or do you think the ability to just set up that off angle was worth it? I'll give you my take in a second. I think this is the second time. I think this is the second time that TM has looked unprepared for Kitsune Rush. Their ult track is bad here. Thank you, THK. This is the second time where TM has looked completely unprepared for a Kitsune Rush, and Red has gotten away with a kill when they shouldn't have. If Blue is even a slightly better position for this, a little bit more cautious and better prepared, like you've already blown Nemesis for him already. That's already the red flag there, right? If they're slightly better equipped to kite this out, this gets completely shut down by Coalescence and KEVSTER dies. The amp is also a little bit late. Why did they push? Did they see a reason to push? I don't understand this. It's just too aggressive. This is the second time now. It's just the second time I've been unable to disengage a very disengageable push from Red. So I'm going to give more credit to Blue's incompetence than Red playing that one properly there, frankly. Right. They needed a reason to push there, right? They needed to be aware that Kitsune Rush was coming in. But this is where push and pull gets really important. This is where, like, remember, you guys ever seen the layers video, the lasagna video on my YouTube? Just look up layering it. This is where, like, you need to anticipate Kitsune, which means that you cannot take the fight until you have your Coalescence. You cannot take the fight until you have your Coalescence. Because even if you do amp that speed out, it's too far without a Coalescence. It's no good. Right. Vistola still had gold and spin. Right. So I don't even know what they were pushing on. Like, what advantage did they create? Their Tracer had just been staged. They needed to play that one a little bit more patiently, build the Coalescence, and then they would have been in a perfect position to be able to kite that one out. And just remember, guys, that this level of play is going to be on 100% lower than Overwatch League. 100% lower. And not because the players are definitely a little bit worse, but it's a lot to do with the fact that just the players are a little bit worse because of regionalization. Players a little bit worse because they haven't been able to solve the meta. So just keep that in mind. I mean, red setups are about as basic as they can get. I mean, look at red here.
Now.
Look at what Kai has done this entire game. Like, has Kai taken an angle once? Once. Like, they're in a situation now where they know they have Cole, they know they have B, they're probably expecting Ram ult as well. There is zero reason for the red team to push here. Zero reason. You will not be pushing. If anything, you'll be pulling. So why the heck is Kai here? Why is Kai not here or here with some form of pocket? You have a Kiriko. Use the Kiriko. Look at they have lost 2 fights, and Kai is still significantly behind an ult charge. Actually wild to me. You know what's funny is this also lines up with our impression of Kai as well, right? Remember the famous phrase, never use your slide, just, whatever? Kai has to be a more intelligent player in terms of how he positioned. This is why Kai struggled on Soldier. This is why you played freaking Patafan on Soldier and not Kai. This is why right here. This is why right here. You will learn. Or you will be beaten, right? You're getting off-angled by a Moira Lucio comp. Oh, that was Ons? Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. Fake news. But regardless, that was why Kai was not a good soldier. I think low ult charge could be due to the damage being harder to find versus Ram. I disagree. I think I think Ram is beyond shield just as easy to build ult charge off of, almost just as easy. It has strict, and again, even if that was the case, significant ult charge gap. KEVSTER goes Tracer, makes sense. The orb bug is so annoying. Sorry for the sucking noise, guys. That's just a little bit silly. We need to pull back there, bait for Vortex, then push. They disengage. They kite. Oh, they're going to keep pushing here. I think this is an overextension from blue. The only time when this would be unacceptable is if you had a brawl ult advantage. I think Vistola could just Orisa ult this right now. And then they'll try to Ajax. Even if they don't Ajax, Fortify, and he still has Fortify. At least he doesn't have Fortify. But he still should be. Mousa needs to beat this now. That's an overextension from TM. That's it right there. Yeah, this is just an overextension by TM. TM gets a little bit too juiced up with it. They'll push out of a choke through angles. You guys have seen this with, again, Overwatch. This is the NA hivemind again go wrong. I think Mousa was just scared he was going to die. He didn't want to Ajax. And then honestly, from Kai here, I'm actually not even sure that I like this ult because he doesn't really have a good angle to shoot anything other than Ram. I think I would have preferred just the beat engage to force them back and then be able to use Sojourn ult like now. I think the layering there could have been a lot better. But regardless, they get the Moira with the Coalescence, so that's all that really matters. I think the Ram ult was just to stay alive versus the Sojourn ult, which was very reasonable. Because it did its job. It was just a really good shot by Kai, and a little bit lucky. Okay, so then point pressure here. What do we have for the rest of the setup here? Vistola spins the point, puts point pressure. Tracer, Moss is low. Good shot. Bit of an angle here. A good pulse. We'll definitely kill or at least force KSAA out. Yeah, this is all right. They got the setup they needed. Mongolian fade retreat, yeah. So the good news, and this is, I'm convinced this is why, ENCE looks better on Tracer comps. It's not just because Kev plays Tracer. but like mechanically, but Kev also like actually takes off angles. Like he actually takes angles on Tracer, right? And it feels like if we can't rely on Kev to take angles, I'm not convinced that he's going to take an angle on another DPS character, and I'm certainly not convinced that Kai is going to take an off angle. You know? Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm taking my headphones off. So chat. What do you think should be the ult play here? What's the ult plan here? Do we want to play passively, control off angles? Does ENCE want to pull Lucio's stack speed, disengage the Sojourn ultimate? Do they want to push in the enemy backline? I think if I'm ENCE here, I think I would rather, I don't think I want to pull here. I don't think I want to pull. I think I would prefer to hold my space and or disengage with my Orisa. Maybe put my Kiriko and my at least my Sojourn or something, Lucio, Kiriko, Sojourn over here. I'm really surprised Quartz doesn't angle here. Because that's why they won last fight. I think he's too scared of the Tracer. I think you could let one rail loose on the Tracer and then swing here and do exactly what you did earlier. Maybe it's the fact that they were not on Sojourn the previous fights. That's why. But I don't know. I think this is too disengageable from red. And then blue kind of does the whole push thing as well. And that's what gets them killed. I mean, obviously, like, KSA is like maybe a little too close to the edge there. That's a crazy boop. Like, that is a crazy boop. Does he get javelined as well? He doesn't even get javelined. I'm sorry, what is that boop? Like, what is that boop? Why cannot this game figure out what boop is? Did he jump? Maybe. I saw this, like, maybe that's it. I swear, like, movement input is like so weird in this game. Maybe it must be the jump, surely. But yeah, again, it's like another one of the situations where team kind of brute forces it, right? Okay. Yeah, I like the boot buff as well. Okay, so now they're like, all right, these guys, these son of a guns are on Ramatra. Now let's talk about how this matchup works. All right, listen carefully. You need to live Ram Shield. Which shouldn't be too hard. It's not near as powerful as Cardiac. You need to live Ram Shield. Once Ram Shield's down, your Malga plays, well, you know what? Malga on the enemy Ramatra. Your Symmetra can do the same, but you need to be very careful that your Symmetra is still setting up teleport plays on backline, because even with Malga and Symmetra focus, it's very, 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 very difficult to finally finish a kill on Sem. And so what you could do is you can still use your TP to set your Kiriko on angles. That's something that Gunba was talking about. But even beyond that, you're still running Kiri Lucio. If you're just going to focus Ram and just focus Ram and focus Ram and focus Ram, you really don't need all that much support from your Kiriko on either your Symmetra or Malga. Because the Sim has the lifesteal, the Malga has Cardiac, we're good. So the comp here, frankly, is not really a problem. It's not really a problem. Gunba says he doesn't like Tracer with this because he likes something that can benefit from the whole Cardiac. I don't know that I agree with that. I understand the logic, but I don't know that I agree with it. I don't know that I like Tracer in this map, but I do think that like Tracer can work. You don't need anything other than Malga to benefit from the Cardiac necessarily. You could just take off angles and win even more that way. But regardless, the Symmetra isn't necessarily the problem here. Not much lifesteal if he's blocking though, isn't it? Well, that's the thing, is you have to have some other off angle to put pressure from. And this is the problem, chat. This is the problem. Crimzo and Kai are not at all creative with their positioning at all. And they've, at least so far, we're now 10 minutes in. When's the last time we've seen Crimzo or Kai take it off angle? So that's exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of focus on tank. Tank's not going to die, and we're going to lose to Quartz and Yubi. I lied. Look at us, guys. We're flat out liars. Look at us. Liars. Look at us. Look at us lying. Look at us lying. Instantly controls this space. Instant. We get split here. So they try to teleport. They do teleport. We get really split there. That's okay. We're able to stabilize and we're cooking.
The objective is now active.
Now, what would London do here? What would old days London do here? Teleport back here. Teleport. Okay. Sojourn shoots, nothing fancy. Same thing with Kirikou and Lucio. And then your Malga runs in. And remember what we said about slamming behind the ram to make him turn? And then utilize the cardiac to be able to turn his butt cheeks to the entirety of Team Blue's comp. Because that's the other thing. Moira Lucio, Sojourn Tracer is not going to kill a Malga in cardiac. Where's the slam? Where's the slam? Why are we not slamming? Why are we not running and slamming? The whole reason that you don't use... Okay, chat, let me explain to you. What you use slam for is if a cooldown trade goes badly, you can disengage it. Let me ask you guys a question. Is this cooldown trade going to go badly? Yep, it is. Why? Because we're walking into the open, into a ram shield. So it becomes a self-fulfilling problem. Where because you don't take any sort of proactivity, then you're going to lose the HP trade, and then you're going to have to run away. Also, where's my SYMMETRA teleport? Also, why is Masa looking this way, and why are we not marking Tracer with our Lucio? Again, does my Malga need speed here when he's running in? No. They just don't know our roles. We don't know. We do not. Like, again, Gunba talked about, like, they did not really have a lot of repetition versus this composition. But, like, again, this is the problem. Like, you can't just be, oh, we know how to play this composition. Like, you cannot be slaves to the meta. Like, oh, we don't know how to play versus this comp, and so we lost. You have to know what your characters do well and do those things. There's no excuse for this. Automatically retreating back into NA Hivemind. No control of their off angle. No setting up of our own proactive play. Vestol is going to have to back out here. And there it is. And now we're dead. I mean, we didn't even use our cooldowns here. Oh, by the way, KEVSTER, sitting on teleporter here. Not even using it. Not even using our teleporter. Free punching bag for the enemy backline. Huge distraction. And it's just gone. Remind me later. Not right now, Paul, too. I'll get to it later. Yeah, it's terrible. They forced this comp. Yeah, they just clearly didn't know how to play versus this. Do you blame Gunba? Do you blame the players? You know, the comp, again, has logic. There is logic here. It's just executed horrifically. No idea what they're doing. Good, Vestol's in the corner. I don't know why Kai is here. I'm a little scared of that. Same thing, by the way, here. Now, the challenge here is that Red actually has to be in a position potentially to pull because they are going to be walking into a coalescence soon, so they need to be careful. It's actually insane. Not a single teleport, not a single off angle. And why does Masa get caught again? And Masa! Masa has to stay on this Tracer. It's actually insane the crime that UB is able to get away with because Masa's looking forward. This should not have been a Suzu necessary here. No, KEVSTER doesn't play much Symmetra. You know, it's funny, chat. It's funny. Even little things like this shows you the inexperience. If I'm KEVSTER here, where should you teleport? Yes, high ground, right here. On top of the things here. Are you going to get booped? Yeah. But you cannot let these guys, they need to feel under pressure, right? And because there's only these two here, you're not concerned about, oh no, we're going to die. No, you're not going to die. Get on top of them. Get on top of them. Spare them out. Force Calyx out. Maybe they make a mistake. Maybe they don't. Either way, get them out so then you can walk to point cozily. You're going to get booped up? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Get Calyx out. You're getting booped anyway. So Kev's just going to run to point and pop Simwall. You see it? You see the problem here? You see the problem here? Even the Simwall is horizontal. Love you. Drive safe. And he probably would have died. He probably would have died if he hadn't done it, but that's obviously not optimal. So Ram lives. Now, how does Kai get this kill? Because we know Kai's not taking an off angle. No, Kai's not taking an off angle. Yubi just peeks it. And do you notice, by the way, chat, just for fun, what should Vistola have done here? What should Vistola have done here? What should Vistola have done here? What's wrong with this slam? What's wrong with this slam? Behind, right. Now, part of the problem is this. Do you see this? Why is he popping cardiac? Why is he popping cardiac? He needs cardiac to do this. Because if you slam behind this way and you don't have cardiac, you're not likely to die, but there's a chance that you die. But yeah, this is a mess of a neutral here. You need to slam behind, or a slam here. Then slam here, and then go. So more KSA living, more KSA living, more KSA living, more KSA. I mean, that gives Quartz even an opportunity to make this fight even close. Bye. I mean, this fight should not have been anywhere remotely close after that initial pick plus some wall. You recommend slamming behind a Ram in ranked? Yes, absolutely. If you have cardiac and they're not running heavy CC. Now, keep in mind, if you do that and ranked into like an Ana Zen, you're going to die. But yeah. Really weird ult from Quartz, but I think they just needed this space guaranteed, so I actually respect it. I think they're just trying to stall here. There's a TP. There you go. That's fine. Yeah, it's unfortunate. What happens with Kremzo here? I don't understand that Suzu at all. That's a terrible Suzu. This Suzu is really important here. Because that's what keeps him alive. I don't understand the teleport either. Also, where's Masa? Why are we amping? Where's Masa? Okay, so he actually takes a teleporter, but we're really struggling when it comes to dealing with this tracer. And then we actually teleport right when we teleport. So then there's just so many errors here. Actually, it's actually unbelievable. And fittingly, Crimso's wearing a gladiator skin. It's good from ENCE though. The initial Sojourn ult from high ground, I was a hater, but I actually like it all right. By the way, let's just point this out. A little bit of off-angle pressure, guys. We're playing with a Moira Lucio comp. By the way, who are they beating on? Who are they beating on? Where's Quartz? They don't even know where Quartz is. You see this? Yeah, we could look a little bit at what team is doing, sure. So let's look at how they roll out here. So they roll out top, they clear out Vistola, easy peasy. Suzu's forced, Yubi's forcing point, Yubi blinks out. So now they have a strict neutral. Yubi gets healed. Quartz continues to deepen on the angle. Kellex playing on main. Either that's to kite out an ultimate or push in with beat, I'm not sure. I think that there's a good world where like Kellex could be playing on the flank with Quartz as well, just because there's a mirror beat situation. Flank pocket, Kellex needs to play his life. As soon as Kellex realizes he's safe, he mirrors beat. KSA, again, is literally just living frontline. That's all he's doing. He just doesn't die. And then focuses squishies whenever he can. You think Ram is better than Orisa right now? Versus what? When? Where? Nice little body block there. And Kai's gone. I think Ram is probably better than the Brawl Mirror. Orisa provides more solutions in case if they run Malga, though. And this ought to be an interesting fight here. A lot of push-pull options here. Yeah, you're welcome. There's the teleport. Yubi's on the angle. Yubi has pulse. Pulse is big. Suzu's late. Or non-existent. Oh man, Crimso has got to trust this more. These Suzus are criminal. And again, look at Quartz. Quartz isn't playing around. Quartz is on the angle. Cole is being used. Kitsune is mirrored. Crimso does not have a good teleport because, again, red is perma-stacked. More tank focused. Malga ult is used. They get the flip, but Cole's going to be able to keep them sustained. They live, they live, they live. SYMMETRA ult is used. More living, more living. All they have to do is survive. Let's look at how Vistola uses his ult cooldowns here. I do not know why he uses cardiac here. I think it might be more team thoughtful, but I don't think his team needs it. So that's a bad cardiac. And again, he needs to get behind KSAA. It is criminal that KSAA is alive right now. It is actually criminal that he is alive right now. He slams in front, maintains all the threats in front of KSA, so shield gets full value. Crimso again with a bad teleport. This time actually thinks he has an angle, but I don't think he actually knows it. Or he messes it up, right. And so then double cooldowns are used. And then now, even though red has used what? 1, 2, 3 ultimates, blue still has a chance to win this. And then they're going to pincer here. Look at this pincer again, by the way, from blue. I think Masa should probably die here. Yeah. That's it. That's it. TM definitely deserved the win with this one, at least on this first map. I mean, this is not even close. There is a massive execution gap. I think TM at points in time has struggled a little bit with over-chasing with the Moira comp, which is like the classic, like you get really excited because you're playing Moira, push. But there's a couple times when they've over-chased and ENCE has been able to disengage. But like outside of those niche situations, TM has consistently had better off-angle control, better push and pull. It's been a W. And again, here I want to point out that like I'm being rough on ENCE because I think there's potential here to like actually figure some of these things out. Like I think like we could see a situation where like this is something that helps like provoke Kai and KEVSTER to improve a lot. And then obviously I think is Crimzo benched now? Is Crimzo back to the coach thing with Ghost or whatever happened with that? I don't remember exactly what happened with all that. Yeah, so that's good news because I think Crimzo's not played well. In terms of like he's very heel botting, he's getting his Suzu force in really silly situations. His teleports have been terrible. So you know, I'm judging execution here, guys. But this is not like, oh, Gunba's bad coach by any means. This is also not that this team is hopeless. This team has a ton of potential. A lot of small things are going wrong here and going wrong consistently. To me, this is just more along the lines of like, this is just more damnation on the whole like Galad's approach to like playing the game. It works until it doesn't work, and when it doesn't work, it's really ugly. Ram Moira on Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. That's crazy. Second point, Hollywood. Who do you think is the MVP in EMEA? Ooh, hard to say. I think Yubi's played pretty well this match so far. I think Yubi's played really well this match. Really capitalizing off of ENCE's inability to capitalize off of space, and he's been hitting some good pulse bombs. I think Yubi's a smart player. I got to work a little bit with Yubi in the Saudi E-Leagues about a year and a half ago, and he has played very well this match. Yeah, it's the lack of range, you know. It's the lack of, this is a big map. A lot of verticality too as well. This comp should never work. Again, you can kind of see that this is, I think, ENCE expecting Malga to be run. Oh, guys. I mean, I literally don't have to say anything, right? Like, right? Like, I don't have to say anything, right? I mean, look at this, guys. What the frick is this? I guess trash likes trash, guys. That's a joke. I mean, this is awful, guys. Like, they're on Moira Lucio. They can't reach you up here. Where are my boys, guys? Where are my boys? Like, this is so much pressure. And you notice, by the way, that again, Quartz and Yubi are not letting them get away with it. Quartz immediately takes the angle that they let it. Do you think Quartz would stay here if they had high ground? Do you think Quartz could stay up there if they had high ground? Immediately fills in that gap. In fact, the only reason that I think Quartz loses, I think that they get to NA hivemind here. I actually think if you are TM here, I actually think you just stand here. I really do. I don't understand this rotation from TM at all. It's not even well timed. There's no nemesis for him, so this is a huge int from TM. But they literally could have what we would call a passive advantage. Stand there and press at mouse 1, and they literally can't lose. Literally cannot lose. Even with the Moira, they can't lose. It's over. Like, that is actually a total grief of a rotation, but at least they close the distance because it's just over. No off-angle control, no punishment. KEVSTER manages to get like these angles like mid-fight, but by then it's too late. Like, that is actually offensive to me. That makes my heart cry. That is horrific. That is about as bad as it's going to get.
Objective lost.
Now the Sombra swap was probably because of Orisa, maybe? I don't really know. Maybe it's just, I actually don't really know. Maybe it's just to swap faster. Maybe it's like a point thing. I'm not going to sit there and throw conjecture out there. But yeah, they're gonna go back to the Malga Sim stuff, which they like versus the Ramatra. See, this is what happens. Let's actually talk about this. You are who you are in a match. You are who you are in a match. Let's just make that very clear. A lot of people complain about like, oh, I'm just a choker. Okay, then you suck. You suck. You're bad at the game. You need to get over that. You suck. If you're the type of player, like, you have to understand that 95% of the time, you are what you are under pressure. And when under pressure, you don't understand, you don't autopilot to off angles or controlling space. Like if your soul isn't crying out that we're stacked here, then you don't understand the game. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh, we choked under pressure. No, you just don't understand space, period. You might have studied it, you might be practicing it, but you don't know, you don't get it yet. You don't get it yet. Until Kai is taking off angle and asking for support, and KEVSTER as well, then you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. So I think the reason why I'm saying this is that Kai and KEVSTER need to develop these skills. They need to develop these skills to where this is not their match day look. And I also want to give credit to TM for showing, because Quartz isn't having this issue. Yubi's not having this issue. There's definitely choking. Everybody struggles with performance pressure, and some people struggle with it more. But at a certain extent, when you do things like this, you can't just blame it. Oh, the lights were a little bright. I just don't think you understand the game well enough. I'm sorry, KEVSTER doesn't understand. KEVSTER doesn't. He may understand it, but he can't do it under the pressure. He doesn't have enough repetition in scrims. Yes, success. And this lines up with what Gunba was talking about, where like it was just like ram. But like and this lines up with what we know about these players as well. No, I'm a huge KEVSTER fan. I think KEVSTER is the best DPS in the West, EU or NA. But in this particular instance, he does not know what he's doing at all. He's totally lost. Does he get butchered on Tracer in this match too? Not really. I think the little bit of Tracer we saw was okay. Yeah. So I'm hoping that Gunba was able to reverse the gladiator effect, because there's real potential with KEVSTER and Kai. Why SYMMETRA? Lifesteal, focus Ramatra, benefits from cardiac. I don't think you have to play SYMMETRA. What's the issue here, ladies and gentlemen? What's the issue? There's one person on the battlefield right now that has been almost completely MIA. Who is it? Masa, to an extent, but where's Masa supposed to play here? I think this is just a terrible rotation. This is the whole, our comp can kill Ram, so let's sacrifice all the good positioning in the world to go rotate onto a Moira Lucio backline. And Kai is meanwhile in a small room, thinking about his choices. I mean, what is this? No angle from Crimzo, no angle from Kai. KEVSTER, to give him credit, was trying to do some TP shenanigans, right? But I mean, that's just never going to work. And even if you consider the push-pull, right? Remember the push-pull, ladies and gentlemen? You know you're going into Coalescence here. What do you have to match the Coalescence? You know? No, cardiac's not enough. Not with where this guy's positioned now. At the very least here, you rotate here, you bait your Coalescence, you TP out. Maybe that works. Yeah, it's a plan problem. No, I'm not even necessarily blaming Kai here. This is an entire, like, totally lost here. That awful rotation. Okay, here's the question though, chat. Here's the question. Why does ENCE do this? Why? Go into their comms. I want you guys to predict. What's the thinking here? They have no angle for Kai. They have no ability to kite out the Coalescence. So why are they here? Right? I promise you, the plan was let's just focus down and kill the Ram. That's what our comp does, right? Malga? But that's not only what your comp does. It's the threat of that is what opens it up. Let me give you guys a good analogy. All right? Let me give you guys a good analogy. Let's say there's a really strong boxer. He's got a nasty uppercut, all right? Nasty uppercut. Whoosh! Right? And so that...
Here's a handout from a rich, handsome...
Thank you, Pig Show, for the sub.
Myself.
Yes, I will make use of $2.50 for sure. Okay.
It's a man like you.
Yes, I will. Thank you. You've got a sick uppercut so that nobody wants to get close to you. How can you utilize the threat of your uppercut to control the game elsewhere? You see, what's going to happen is when you have a sick uppercut, bad players, bad boxers are going to get knocked unconscious from your uppercut, right? But what if you're facing a good boxer? How do you win? Think about that. I'll be right back. Bait. The threat of the uppercut opens up other threats because they have to respect it. That's it exactly. The threat of the Malga ability to kill Ramatra is what opens up your Sojourn, your supports, your Symmetra to do other and more creative things because you tie the Ramatra's hands. And so if TM adjusts, which they are, you have to have, like, the fact that your Malga counters their Ram means that your DPS also counter their DPS because they get more resources because your Malga doesn't need resources. It's what the threat opens up. Exactly. It's not so much the jab concept. No, I'm just using another punching analogy here. But you don't necessarily, what's happening here is that Team Red knows that they're going to lose the tank trade. They know they're going to lose the tank trade. It's over. Like, Ram can't beat Malga. But what Ram can do is he can live. So if all you do is focus Ram, his DPS are going to pop off. And Blue is just not doing that. Now, right now, chat, I promise you I have not seen this fight. I promise you I have not seen this match. What should ENCE do? What should happen here? What should they, be specific. Don't give me these. What should they do right now on this map, in this old situation right now? What should be done? TP top, right, bam. Now what? Okay, so first question. Do we need to push or pull? Push. Why? Besides the fact that your Malga gets close to Ram and so on. Cart. Look at the ults as well. You see this? Look at the ults. Beat for beat. You have Kitsune. You have Sojourn. You're in a fine position to get your Malga in there with Cardiac and start cooking. But what should be happening when we push? What should be happening when we push? Where will Crimzo go? Where will Kai go? Where will KEVSTER go? Set up. I would send Kai on this high ground right here with Kiriko. And I would keep Kev poking here, looking for TPs once he gets his TP back. Let's see what happens. They're going to wait. They're waiting for Kitsune. They drop. Oh! and they lose. Kevs get split. Bingo. And what the frick is Kai supposed to do? Why even bother to clear the high ground if you're not going to use it? Why have Astola dropped so far back? I don't know if he's, because of shield. He's seen shield. He can't, see, this is the other thing too as well. This is why you need those off angles, because ladies and gentlemen, what forces Ramatra to shield? Is it just Mal? You need your DPS. You need Kai annihilating KSA to force this shield. Because let me give you guys an analogy. Example. Vesola says here, Kai slides across here with Kiriko. Kai starts to pepper and shoot KSA. You will get shield. You will get shield. Now your Malga drops. Now your Malga can do the thing. Because the problem with Malga is he can't really force the dive here with shield. You see that? So he has to disengage. That opens up Kev. And then now we're good. But the problem is that Kev is already dead. And in addition to that, what space have we gained from this? And by the way, I also want to put a little bit of, it's so hard because I don't know who's, Masa has to be better. Masa's also got a horrible Lucio skin. Easily, maybe the worst Lucio skin in the game. Look at this idiot. Look at this idiot. This is the worst Lucio skin in the game. Shame on your stupid face. But how much of this is Masa's fault? Because his DPS aren't really taking proactivity, you know? So there's the Kitsune rush, and yes, we're on main because, of course. Now Kai's in an off angle. Well, that's great. There's the beat. But, guys, what's the problem here? What's the problem here, ladies and gentlemen? Where are my supports? Where are my supports? Where are my supports? Where is Masa? Where's Crimzo? Pistola's full HP. He's not even taking any damage. And this is why you lose. It's not. I think Crimzo as well there too. I think Crimzo as well. So whose fault is it? Is the DPS never taking an off angle's fault? Is it the support's not supporting the off angle? Is it it's impossible to read really. So I hope you guys notice right now, this is the struggle of a coach, right? Do you want to blame Gunba for taking a risk on a little bit of a trickier composition to execute? Great, go for it. Do you want to blame Gunba for not hammering in the off angles? Go for it. But don't blame Gunba for the comp. Don't blame Gunba for the comp. And really, does anybody need blame here? Do we have to? We're blaming for the sake of analysis and learning, right? But really, these guys are great players. Gunba's a proven coach. Let him cook. Let's see what happens. So I think, it's a team diff. Whose fault is this here, you know? We always want, human nature, we want the one simple, juicy answer to blame. But you guys know how we do things here. It's never that easy. It's never that easy. I cannot tell you how many times I distinctly remember coaching the London Spitfire in 2021 when we sucked. And I got picked up halfway, 2/3 of the way through the season. And I remember the first game that we played. I'd been working with these guys like a week or something like that, or 2 weeks. And somebody was like, oh, wow, there was some comment about there was a distinct lack of off. No, I know what it was. It was Ripa not using his regenerative bursts on Baptiste. He wasted them a lot, and he wasted a couple in the match as well. People were like, wow, surprised to see that one, especially with Spilo coaching for them. Duh! I don't fix things like that. I can't get in their head and move the brain cells around here, right? So, there's so many things here. And even if I was the one playing, that I can't fix that issue immediately, right? So yes, we're looking for problems here. But the blame that I'm going to say is that KEVSTER and Kai, they just don't look as good at this. You know what's actually funny, chat? Okay, you know what's funny? Do you guys remember the scrimmage review with SSG? You guys remember that? How many of you guys remember that? How many of you guys remember that? Do you remember what SSG dumpstered them in that one scrim? Do you remember why? Here's how many of you guys remember that. Spoiler, it was more the same thing. Different comp. Totally different composition, but more of the same thing. Notice, by the way, when watch this from Quartz. As Quartz backs up, watch what Quartz does. Backs up, takes an angle. Look at that. Even Yubi backs up, takes an angle. Immediately. These guys are unsupported off angles. Like, let's also not forget that we're yelling at Masa and Crimzo for like letting Kai die here. Where are we? Okay, but it was also Quartz who, off of the beat pushed in and surprised and took the duel here. It's a killer instinct, is what it is. It's a killer instinct. But I think the killer instinct sometimes comes back to bite TM, where they forget the quote unquote lose cons. You guys ever heard that term before? That's something that I learned from Christopher, right? Where it's basically just about keep in mind they might catch you if you overpush, and that's a classic TM is the overpush. Great catch there from Vestola. Now, to be fair, how many of you guys would expect to lose a 5v3? Pushing into Reaper ult, yeah. It's a lot of times it's the Reaper ults and stuff like that. He was super huge in Korean coaching. Yes and no. I think because Korea plays dive more commonly, they run into these kind of like concepts a lot more frequently. But also, I would not say Atlanta Reign or Gladiators have been anywhere close to a Korean style of play. Nor have they been particularly impressive at dive. In fact, when Gladiators were best at dive, do you guys remember when Gladiators were best at dive? In 2021, I think, I don't remember what 2022 was like, to be frank. But it was in 2022, it was Patafan on Soldier. Do you guys remember what made Patafan really good on Soldier? Who remembers? Well, Reiner first off, yeah. But what made Patafan great? Flat twist, it was not his mechanics. His mechanics on Soldier were not good. They were like below average. Yes, he was a crack head flanker. He was really good at his movement. He was silly. Kai is infamous for doing the opposite. I think Simwall is okay. A really good pull there from, look at this pull from Kellex. Amp, bam, immediately trigger pulled. Look at that. Wow, that's actually so tight. Now, actually here, I think you need to be really careful about overpushing here. I think Vestol could die here if he's not careful. Yeah, that was spooky. Okay, great pull there. We haven't seen a whole lot of pulls this match, and that was a beautiful one right there. Okay, chat. What do you guys think? What should happen here? Now, this is a very interesting fight here because we've been shrieking about the lack of off angles from ENCE. But look at this fight. What do you guys think? Look at the ult. Look at the ult situation. You see it? You see it? Should be interesting here. Should be very interesting. I'm curious to see how ENCE takes this. Will they match? Will they try to kite out an ultimate? Oh, man. Oh, man. No off angles, 3, 2, 1 push. By the way, if you wanted to push here with Kitsune Rush, how would you do it? How would you do it? I would probably TP. I think. In fact, the only reason that Quartz dies here is because he takes the angle kind of late and then doesn't have slide. Like, it's just unfortunate timing. And give credit to KEVSTER, it's really good recognition. This is the equivalent of doing a TP cutoff. He actually TP cuts off on the DPS. So this is a great play by KEVSTER. This saves a disastrous pull again. But yeah, it's another force 3, 2, 1 push that TM almost entirely pulls out. Now here they gotta be ready to pull. So weird, Chad. This is so sloppy. Like, I honestly, I don't even know if I want to break this one down in detail because there's so many things wrong. You see this again? Like, what the frick is this setup, guys? Yeah, also the turret placement, that's true as well. But like, what is this setup? Where's Kai? Like, Kai? Why is this a conga line? Like, you could easily plant Kai here with Kremzo or anything, like anything here. And then they get the whatever thing forced because they turn on him. And by the way, again, do you notice because of the lack of off angles here? Because of the lack of off angles, KSA literally never shields until he wants to. Do you guys notice that? Which means Vestola permanently has to cardiac shield because he's getting poked out from behind with things like Disruptor Shot, Quartz, and Yubi, but KSA is never getting poked out from a different angle. Never. Not once. So KSA always has shield for Vestola, which means he always trades shield for cardiac, which then makes living the Malga focus so much easier. Unreal, really. Unreal. So yeah, they're basically like trying to bait stuff here. Quartz again takes the angle. Coalescence is used. Vestola gets CDs forced. Yubi, they did deepen. They forced the beat as a result because they don't even have off angles on the back line. They just have off angles in Vestola. And that's all they need there, right? So Vestola's getting shot in the back. Vestola's forced out. Beat is forced. No, still no space being taken. And it's also really strange to see Masa pushing here because Masa has to know that they have beat. So I think he's trying to like Ajax it, but people are so split. Yeah, see, he's trying to, but he didn't. It's just a mess. And then all during this cooldown trade. Wait, by the way, what forces Suzu here? Oh my gosh. That's Kremzo has. Yeah, the Kremzo's been pretty heavy this match. Like, even that TP there is crazy to me because, like, I mean, I guess it's okay because you get away from the core, but, like, yeah, this is just horrific setup. There's just no setup. Like, there's no... They know they lose the Brawl ult fight, but they're not in a position to disenkite it. They actually push with the beat, even though they know they have beat in response. So they're not doing the push-pull, right? Like, you could push-pull that fight. You could go in there, force the Cole, and then teleport out or amp speed up, but they didn't do that. So instead, they traded Cole for beat and then pushed with it, knowing that they had to beat and come. Like, you could even beat and then get ready to amp speed out, knowing that they're going to beat as well, but they didn't do that either. So they're not pushing or pulling, and they're not off-angling, and when doing both is good Overwatch. Doing one is okay Overwatch. They're doing neither. Yeah, this is... The level execution here is really low. Slam. There's Cardiac. And that's it. They just have nothing to match. Should be it. Oh, no. Just mechanics and ults, I guess. Yeah, crazy clutch there. Do they hold here, chat? This is like a classic. This is a really hard defense to hold. I think this is really especially hard with Moira Lucio because, like, it's really hard to, like, actually push something. Decent pulse. I mean, obviously would prefer. He catches Kellex. One thing I learned from Commander X today, which makes sense if you think about it, is that Malga ult is, like, really bad. And the Malga mirror, or just Brawl mirror. So it's actually, you have to be really careful when you push with Malga ult because a lot of time, and especially in the Malga mirror, like, you just die. Because it loses, like, if you're running a Malga mirror and one team has Kitsune and one team has Malga ult, the team with the Kitsune usually wins unless the Malga ult blocks the Kitsune rush, which I don't think it does do that, right? Because your Malga, like, fires like twice as fast, so it doesn't matter if he's in a cage. He never dies. how is Vistola getting his cardiac force, bro? I not agree with that cardiac at all. Yeah, see, there's the push pull, right? They get the cooldown trade for honestly free. Like that, he was fine. Like I was really not good. So then KSA just immediately pushes out there. They use Kitsune, then there's the pull. There's your push pull, guys. There's your push pull. The only thing here is that Slay goose up. Like this is actually pretty good from TM. They get a cooldown advantage. I don't really know why KSA. Maybe he needed to. Yeah, I do not agree at all with the Annihilation. He just needed to pop Nemesis and hold, so he screws that up. But the punishing the use of the cardiac is really good. And then why does Slay die? Oh, his fade is like really lame. Yeah, he just trolls. And then like really high tiered beamed up Symmetra. No, I think Rush is good. I was just talking about how Rush was in many ways better than Malga ult in certain situations. More pressure on Vistola, you be on the angle. Why is Vistola so low? There's the support ult. They need to kind of scam this. I don't even really know why KEVSTER TP's back. I really don't know why he TP's back. He could just turn here, angle his sim wall this way, and then just sit here. And then he's going to have teleport relatively soon-ish. He could just stay high ground here. And then honestly even consider dropping and finishing off the kill here. Because now he's not really in a position to do anything. At least he's in a position to get killed. And that's exactly what happens. Here's his job is just to provide pressure on the off angles. Yeah, man, this is pretty low ball stuff. Okay, any questions so far, y'all? What do you think about Quartz plus Kellex getting the top left angle to push last? Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Would probably be something that you need to do with Sojourn Ultimate, though. That would be better. Just for immediate value. You did an XQC. Can you respond in Nero again? What? What does that mean? Why TM opting the Ram if we think he's weaker to Malga? Because, again, he's weak to Malga, but the whole composition functions relatively simply with a push-pull, and Ram's really good at the push-pull because his Nemesis form. But also, if it ain't broke, guys, if it ain't broke, he's sitting there, and if they keep focusing him down and his DPS keep winning duels, indirect value, ladies and gentlemen. What's Tracer's job in this matchup? Oh, that Nero. Herd off angles, pressure from multiple different control space, harass. Just the same Tracer's job in any composition. Yeah. So, yeah, TM is definitely showcasing better team play here. They are running the slightly easier composition, and they're abusing the ENCE weakness here. Why can't Vistola wait for shield before popping cardiac? Because his DPS are not off angling. So what ends up happening is the enemy Ram is turning with shield and lasering him down. And so he's getting his cardiac forced. Nah, I disagree, Lena Gaga. If the comp makes sense and KEVSTER wants to be an elite tier DPS in OWCS, he can't be a Tracer one trick. And that's what Gunba says, and I'm with him on that. I'm with him on that. Cool. Again though, like what's missing here, chat? What's missing? Do you think Vistola needs speed here boost here? Right. Put your freaking Kai on a Lucio here and just laser Yubi or laser the Ram. Make them rotate up here and then slide away. There just is no like, and then we're now split in our push and we're like trying to 3-2. It's just very one-dimensional. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna. You guys have seen me review before. That was a nice backward slam. That is what we've been missing in terms of the hard push. Watch it, chat. For the micro for Vistola, this is what we were missing. Check it out. You see this? So not only does he hit squishies, which is obviously great, but he actually gets to watch the Ram here. You see? He's getting shot in the back. There it is. So the setup here is a disaster. But yeah. Back shots. Yeah, exactly. Wait, no. Wait. Oh, no, not back shots. Yeah. So I'm not going to be too repetitive here. I want to talk more about new stuff here and there. Like the fact that this is just completely brain dead. What was the plan, man? Did you think that you had a man advantage, an old advantage? Your Lucio's on cart, your T, like, what was the plan? What was the plan? Like, what? What? So yeah, we're after, basically, you guys have seen my reviews before. We usually start very top heavy, and there's a reason why that's the case. I want to set the stage here so you guys fully understand what and where my problems are. But just like the average ranked player, there's not going to be necessarily wildly different problems from map to map. It's going to be a lot of the same. So we'll point it out here and there, especially if there's anything new, and if you guys have any other questions. But other than that, we're just going to let it play a little bit. I don't want to keep hammering over the same points over and over again. I mean, I will, but I'm going to do so at least with shortness. And even here, like, why is KEVSTER the one taking the angle? I don't mind this. Like, this is fine. But, like, Kai's the guy that has the better range pressure here, right? Why is it Kev? You know that? Good attempt at a pull there. I think Calyx is on the wrong... They're not quite prepared for it. Yeah, so then Calyx gets... I think TM has its moments where they try to pull, but they're not quite prepped for it. Why am I getting a friend request? Which one of you is Thorfinn? Shouldn't KEVSTER almost always be with Malga? It depends on if you're pushing. You can definitely get some TP flanked stuff. But yeah, I don't need more friends. Do I agree with a Cole? Yes and no. I think what ended up happening is that TM goes, oh shoot, we can't pull this. We actually have to match the ults. But then decides a little bit too late. You were Thorfinn? I am Spartacus. And even stuff like this is just so messy. Like, look at this. Kai's here early. Crimzo isn't with him until too late. So then Kai takes poke. So then Crimzo panic teleports. And then, Crimzo, guys, we need to lock Crimzo up. I want to, Crimzo needs to go to jail. Crimzo needs to go to jail. At least we have Kai in an off angle here. I will say from maybe they're expecting to be able to clear high ground here. But I think TM could have played this one a little bit better. I think they had the time and the resources. They definitely had the time and the resources. I think TM should have done the high ground rotate. I think they rotate out here, take high ground, farm their beat and or like Ramel, and then drop. And then from there, they can actually do their speed push and or do the same thing that ENCE did. I think this rotation from TM is really bad. I think what happened, guys, if I remember Gunba correctly, or no, was it KSA who said this in the interview? They never played this map before? Yeah, that 20 HP is very important. So there's like a lot of crap here, like probably a lot of bad rotations. So like this is like a really, really bad rotation. How do you play around Cage? For red, it's kind of hard. They actually don't have a lot of solutions for Cage. Try and just get your Ram in it and get value elsewhere. If you have Kitsune or Malgamir, you could just obliterate the Cage. Can't Kai just OC them if they go top? No. Because who's going to be up there with him? Somebody has to push cart. They can't match them on top. And then if Kai is over here, slide after him. Put your Moira, Lucio, Suzu, whatever on him. How do you rotate without getting picked by Sojourn Rail? This rotation is very easy. Amp speed and you're already there. And again, because Team Blue has to have somebody on cart, they'll always be fighting at a slight disadvantage. Yeah, probably Chicken. Honestly, if your Ram gets caught with Cage, I think you just let him die. Depending on how like good your setup is.
The
SSG were robbed. SSG. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. That sucked, man. It was depressing. Bad shield from KSAA. Remember, the whole point of the shield is to force cardiac. There's too much like push thought process here, which then allows Vestola to turn with cardiac. You see that? Which then forces into a negative nemesis cycle. And this is exactly what they wanted to do, right? So that was poor from KSAA. Actually, I don't know why he runs. Was he trying to like stomp somebody? Gets a little lost in the sauce there for a second. And that kind of allows, in theory, should allow ENCE to be able to easily pull. Yeah, you guys see it? They messed that cooldown trade up real bad. So that allows them to pull. What does Quartz see here?
This ends now.
Haha, KEVSTER. Come on, Kev. Come on, Kev. No, like even the fact he puts his freaking turrets there instead of on the frame. This guy is killing me, man. He needs to take some lessons from, shoot, who's the Meta 1? Yeah. Needs some lessons from Meta 1, you know what I'm saying? All right, Kremzo, what the frick, dude? Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Ah, jeez. What's the advantage of the Kiriko in the composition to a BAP? Should be impossible to die to more Moira Tracer stuff. Not impossible, but a lot harder. And can also support Kev and Kai on off angles. GM's lost a little bit of the control here. You ever heard of Meta 1? He's top 500 Symmetra player. The negative positive nemesis cycle. It's not really that deep. It's just something that we've been talking about here, where because Quartz and Yubi have generally been better positioned than KEVSTER and Kai, KSA has not had to commit shield until Vestola pushes him. Then KSA commits shield, which then Vestola can't lifesteal off of. So then Vestola gets his cardiac forced because of the shield. And then that's a great cooldown trait for the red team. And then you can block, but then you're fine once the shield breaks. Like it's fine. What happened there is KSA used shield just to do a little bit of poke, and then Vestola goes 3, 2, 1, turns, immediately forces Nemesis for him, and then uses his cardiac later. The Ram shield needs to be used to force and or counter cardiac. Moira is better for a lot more push and pull reasons. The ability to kite ultimates and push with ultimates. In addition, she has that glut of healing and or dueling potential that this team is utilizing more. More group survivability value. Questionable. I mean, I respect it. Quartz is like falling asleep at the wheel a little bit though. Like if you see Quartz on this angle, he should have slid like 6 years ago, and then he doesn't like actually create enough space there. That was kind of a bad play from Quartz. Not a bad play from Blue, but yeah. The good news is they can steal cart, which is a big deal. Cole's had to use, Kev's there, but they're able to just maintain focus. So yeah, that was fine. See, even that was okay, because even if Quartz doesn't die there, at least you've removed Quartz from taking the off angle, right? So then you can kind of just focus Ram and get away with it. I like to look at rotations with or without Symmetra Teleporter as the cheat way to take off angles. Because if you TP at a Sojourn, she can't stay in the off angle anymore. She has to go back to her team when you clear the off angle. A lot of London success with the Rhine comp was stuff similar, where they would use Sim solo TPs and group TPs to remove the value of off angles. I used to joke with Hottie that they couldn't play dive, so they couldn't stage, so they had to use the teleporter. You don't know how to like take angles, then you just use the teleporter to cheat the whole concept for you. Okay, pretty nasty fight here for Red. I don't know how they win this one. A lot of really sloppy ult usage. Yubi actually goes Symmetra here. Symmetra is just because of the nature of the map. This map is super narrow. Fake TP push. They're going to go Malgamir. A lot of ultimates. Can they pull? Can they pull? No, Calyx is caught in a pull a lot. Yeah, Calyx has gotten caught in these pulls a lot. Like, they know they're on Sim, Beat, Loot. Like, this is just, Calyx has been, this is like, what, the third time maybe? That Calyx has gotten caught in a situation where it was clear that they wanted to disengage. And actually, I would go as far to say for Yubi, I don't like this teleport either. You need your teleport for yourself. You need to take an off angle and poke and poke and poke, and then have a teleporter for you to be able to disengage here. Or even just to TP your Malga out of the cage. Not well played by Calyx. And by the way, can we just admire the fact that, again, Quartz is on an angle? This stuff wins fights. You have no business winning this fight, and now you actually have a chance to maybe stall this fight out. Great play by Quartz. I mean, that is... Yeah, no, there's definitely value in the teleport there, right? It's just, I think that I don't think you should be allowed to use that. 1, 2, 3, 4 ultimates, and they're about to lose this fight. Huge. He carried on the angle, bro. He carried on the angle. All the angles, ladies and gentlemen. All the angles. Huge stuff there. What was the purpose of KEVSTER's wall there? I don't know. See, that's the other thing, too. If we want to talk about fresh new errors to consider here, you don't need, when the enemy, you don't need to combo ultimates. Comboing ultimates is one of the most overrated thing in Overwatch. It's not really done a lot in professional Overwatch, but it's overrated. Sim wall there is all you need. Sim wall, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, then Malga ult. Good, good. Then beat, then Sojourn, and so on. Layer, don't stack. Nice, Lexa. Nice. I'm proud of you too. Almost unironically. Nice job. I feel like here, ENCE needs to play this one slow. I actually don't hate the rotation they do here, because this choke is so bad that if you can get here and then maybe like send here and then kind of split here, you might have a little bit of a neutral advantage. I don't hate the rotation here. They just get caught in the rotation. TM kind of overextends though. TM does the classic, oh, we're up one, let's push there. That was not smart. Kitsune for Kitsune. Slay gets picked quickly. Oh, yeah. TM really needs to be careful about that. Oh, we have an advantage. Let's just turn our brains off and push. That hurt them on Nepal. That's hurt them a few times here as well. Oh. Fake T. Oh, no, not a fake TP. Actual TP. They clear Quartz out. They force Suzu. Again, I think Quartz is a little bit disrespectful to her teleports. Oh, maybe not. No, he just slid the... Kind of got caught. That was a good teleport from Kev there. That was good. That also forces an early sim wall. They can disengage this. Do they pull it? Do they pull it? Do they pull it? They do pull it. Then they push right back in. Nice, guys. Nice. ENCE. That's a great... This is the best push-pull trade that we've seen from ENCE this entire thing. Starts off with a great teleport onto the off angle. Forces the off angle out. Forces a bunch of resources. Forces panic. Forces a sim wall. Sim wall. Back out. Back. Okay, they've overextended. Respond with beat. Layers activated. Bam. KEVSTER does not somehow get beat. How does KEVSTER not get beat, bro? Oh my gosh. That's super unfortunate, but it doesn't matter. Shouldn't matter. Again, we see a combo of ults from TM instead of layering. So then now they're going to be able to walk back, and they have everything here. I would love to see another teleport there, honestly. I would love to see another teleport. 3, 2, 1, just go. They're going to give them an opportunity to recontest because it goes straight to card. Oh, they lost so much momentum there. No. Yubi on the flank. Distracts. Cage for cage. I don't really know. I don't really care what happened there. They both die. It's just Malga. But sim advantage here. Calyx on the flank, though. They're able to set up a push. And Kai pops off. Yeah, that was really good from ENCE there. That whole push-pull stuff was the best team play stuff that we've seen from ENCE this entire series so far. The only like nitpick, like I said, was they should have TP pushed immediately. They had a mana advantage and they just quietly go to point instead of teleporting immediately onto the backline. I think they had cardiac at that point as well. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at the map control, guys. Oh my days. It is actually unreal. It's the same thing. If you want, if you missed the first defense, Fox McCumulus, that was your mistake. You should be watching my stream 24/7. Nah, it's just basically that ENCE has no idea. They're all huddled into a corner again. No off-angle control, no high ground control, no nothing. Zero space control. Oh no! Oh no! It's happening again! It's happening again! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Why are we doing this? Why are we getting off-angled by a Moira? Ay. Happening again. Masa should die. Masa does die. And yeah. I've not watched the EMEA game. No, I'm not likely to. So they're just committing here. Beat, commit. Calyx doesn't have his beat yet, so Vistola runs through Pulse. Can they get KSAA? Oh my gosh. Again, Quartz has a power position. Dude, guys, how many times have we seen in these Devolve fights, Quartz just appears on an off angle? Seriously, how many times does that happen? A dozen? Maybe more? I mean, it's unreal. Like every fight. I mean, every fight. This guy is playing Kovacs with zero support. Death ball every time. Actually unreal. Now they're going to go Sim Kiri here because they're going to try and disengage an ultimate, or they're going to try and Suzu an ultimate, because this is going to be a really hard fight to win. So they're going to go, they're going to try and cheese it up. Kai pushes from an off angle there. I would have liked to have seen Kiri with him. But this should work. It's a good angle. Gets a lot of damage done. Yeah, that works. The only thing there is like, even there is like he goes by himself without support help. Yeah. So the few times that we've actually seen an off angle from Kai, like literally like twice, I think. They're gonna try and go Orisa. I think why Red is playing this is they only have to win one fight. And so TM is thinking, let's play for old economy. And generally Ram Moira is not exactly the strongest old economy. Kitsune, Malga, Cage are generally better. So you're just going to basically play like, hey, like we don't want to get in a negative ult cycle here, right? And we might see blue stick with this comp, because remember what we guessed it was with that Orisa and Echo is like their initial fight plan. But the good news is that even though it's a quote-unquote counter comp, your old economy is way better. Orisa's not that good. Like Simwall is better than Copy, Malga better than Orisa, and so on. This is a really nice setup. This is a really nice setup. I'm not sure why Vistola is so low. I think Vistola consistently kind of pushes too much. You guys notice that? So like here he's forcing point a little bit, but I really don't want to see him push. Yeah, he needed to back a little bit faster there. Just a micro error there, not a big deal. And then does Kai just get rolled? Yeah, he just gets kind of rolled. I mean, I don't know. KEVSTER's also not getting a lot of good damage out either. Maybe they just haven't had the experience to like figure out the rotations on this map, but like The Malga's just not really taking that much damage. Yeah, and I don't even know if I want to see this. This is just going to be touches and foolishness. KEVSTER takes the angle, gets recall forced immediately. High ground is taken by TM. Vistola does a really good job disengaging that one. They get KSA low. That was a good trade of the cardiac there. KEVSTER does get on an angle, takes elevator, falls off the elevator. Kind of bad. Kitsune is used. And then, yeah, Vistola. Okay. The Sojourn Echo comp is strictly counter Malga comp. Now, is that optimal? Is it consistent at working? I'm not really sure. Okay. I would say we're at about the halfway point here. Because as I said, we are going to be moving at a more brisk pace with the future maps. And I think that was the longest map. I imagine it had to be the longest map. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Obviously, we've talked about a lot of crap. Any questions? Got cleared by 3 people, yeah. How would Sigma do into the Malga, assuming you get a team that is Sigma is good versus Malga. The problem with Sigma is that it's a little bit harder to push and pull. So it's a little bit harder to push your old advantages and a little bit harder to kite. Sigma can get isolated quickly because he's a little bit slow. And he's also not as tanky as Ramatra. So even though Malga is better versus Ram, at this level of play, it might be that these guys have found the importance of pushing, pulling with different ultimates more important. Do you see any weaknesses in how TM plays? Yes. I think Kellex gets caught out too many times in push situations when they need to be ready to pull. And I think the team as a whole tends to over push in situations, pushing into pincers. Is it mainly Quartz angling, winning them their fights? No. I think TM has overall had better ult economy, better ult planning, and a better understanding of their composition. While it is easier, they've been doing a better job. Who should have been marking Quartz in Hollywood? I wouldn't think about marking Quartz, more about why isn't Kai getting the same level of value? Why isn't Kai taking the same angles, especially considering that we're running Kiriko? Would you mirror here if you were their coach? No, I don't think so. I mean, it depends on what you think. Like, if it's hard to make these reads in the moment about what's going wrong and making those mid-fight adjustments. I think Gunba was even talking about the fact that he had like less than like 60 seconds to talk about this stuff. So mid-fight adjustments are really hard. A lot of times the players just have to figure it out on their own. Yeah, Malga does crap on. I mean, they're playing Malga on purpose into Ramatra, but you still need more than one player to play the composition functionally well. And right now, KEVSTER, Kai, Crimson Masa are really leaving Vistola out to dry. Yeah. The one feedback for Vistola was really like we were saying, like the reverse slam, and generally trying to take less poke, like being more respectful of the ram shield if possible, like so that he's not getting his cardiac forced. Would you like it if coaches could talk mid-match like CS:GO? No, I don't think so. I think the whole spirit of Overwatch, and I say this as a coach, is that like I like the fact that the players have to kind of like develop themselves. I like the challenge that provides. I think like having a coach just like being able to like micromanage and shot call and like ult plan, like I think, I don't know. That doesn't sound appealing to me. Sounds either overrated or cheesy. Because you could have literally perfect planning and perfect ult tracking like a lot of the time, and I don't know. I don't like it. Is there any dive comp that has advantage in Hollywood second point specifically versus Malga? I mean, any dive comp, like any dive comp does well. Would holding SimTP for Quartz angle on Hollywood be a good call? Could be, yeah. Could be. I mean, you're thinking about it the right way. That's the thing. There's so many solutions here. Set up kind of an early angle. Use SimTP to discourage Quartz angles more consistently. Teleporting our own Sojourn onto a better off angle. So many things. What can their tank even do? Some is around such as these in ranking that feels so useless. I mean, we've definitely talked about like Vistola taking too much pre-fight poke, some situations, getting his cardiac force too early, not utilizing. There's still plenty of things that Vistola had control over. But it's not just about tank though. Anytime you're always a victim of your team. It doesn't matter if you're DPS, tank, or support. Like there's always a certain percentage that you can control, and you have to focus on controlling that percentage. Why does CS have live match coaching? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't have know anything about how that goes on their end. I would assume at least in part because CS is a significantly slower sport. Yeah. So there's a lot more space for communication. Yeah. One subtle plug, guys. We did buff up Patreon rewards. So I will do this only once today. But we did buff up Patreon rewards. So if you guys are interested in playing early YouTube release, Ask Spilo priority, all that kind of stuff. The only reason I'm plugging it now is because we're doing a special drive, special Discord rolling bad, so you can really soak in the parasocial relationship juices. Early access, coaching discount as well. Check it out. Now, the only reason I'm shilling, Matt, is because Gabe is in my DMs yelling at me for not shilling. So yeah, exclamation mark patron. Gabe is ruthless, man. If I don't shill for myself, the guy beats me. So, but yeah, exclamation mark patron, and feel free to check it out. So we've buffed up a lot of the perks, even for the lowest tier. Just doing your job, sir. Yeah, it's fine. Whoop whoop, nice 3-stream streak. Yes, exactly, chicken. Exactly, chicken. Chicken would know because she's part of the crew. Okay, I'm going to get some water and then we will resume. Actually, maybe I'll get another ginger beer. These are pretty good, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Pretty good. Be right back. Yeah, the description says spicy and robust. Sounds like me. What do you guys think? Spicy and robust? Yeah? Sure. Thanks, guys. What brand ginger beer? Premium Mixers. It's pretty vanilla. Premium Mixers. I've had Reeds as well. Reeds is pretty good. Spicy and fragile. Okay, let's take a look here. Now, in theory here, at least on first fight, hashtag remove the glass, the Sim Sojourn Malga should be okay. Although I do think Ram's shield might be a problem in first fight, so let's see what happens. The angles are a little bit less of an issue on the first fight. Let's just do this. 2 times speed. We don't care. We don't care. Push pull. We don't care. They kite out the cardiac. They push back in. Shield. Shield has been used. We're still waiting. Oh, somebody gets caught in rotation here. Was it a Sojourn Rail? It was a Sojourn Rail, wasn't it? So Leia's a little bit mispositioned here. Yeah, it was Sojourn Rail. Jeez, that was so much fun. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, can we just take a quick moment to consider? I want you guys to remember this moment. Remember this moment. This might be the last time that I do a pro analysis match when there's a glass here. You know what? Look at this. Look at this. I hated you, Spartan, with every ounce of my being. I said some terrible, ugly, and rude things. And while they were true, maybe the way that I said them were a little bit harsh. My friend, sail into the west, sail smoothly. And while I wish you will never to come back, I did appreciate and respect what you did for the community, what you did for me, if nothing else than to give me an outlet and a direction for my aimless rage and passion. And I want to thank you for at least being a visually pleasing stumbling block, if nothing else. A stumbling block, but at least a visually pleasing one. Thank you, and be gone. Let's enjoy it, chat. This might be the last time. I don't know when the Colosseo rework's coming out, but you know, we got a little while before we have any more OWCS, so maybe by then.
This ends now.
I just love the fact that even though the Moira dies, they still win just because this choke is so nasty. Yeah, the glass is going away. Yeah, the glass is gone. Season 11? When is season 11? So this is kind of a stalemate here. Ooh, that's good. Force the Malg out a little bit here. Force some cooldowns. I'm surprised to see them drop. You know what? No, I'm not surprised to see them drop. It's ENCE that we're talking about here. So they're going to Kitsune. Again, they're going to be able to kite this one out. Yubi needs to live. Okay, but yeah, I think the big thing here is that, like, again, it doesn't seem like... I don't think ENCE knows how to push. Like, first off, you really don't need speed on your Malga. Second off, you really need some form of, like, a teleporter cut or something, and or a Sojourn angle. And they're just, and like, they just don't. Kai does take the angle, though, so I give credit to that. But, like, there needed to be more support there. Yeah, what happened to Slay here? I mean, that's kind of tough. Maybe not the best heal orb here. Yeah, probably not the heal orb was probably the mistake there, because they should have been able to live that with heal orb, and then they would have been fine. Okay. Push pull here. I think TM's goal here has to be to pull. Has to be to pull. Because you're not going to be able to match them on beat immediately. They're going to have so many ults. You don't have Sojourn, you don't have Pulse, you don't have Cole. I think they're probably going to be looking... I actually don't like that. I appreciate the creativity, but I actually think that you don't really need to do anything cute here. I think you have the ult advantage, so I think you just meet them toe-to-toe. I think you just meet them toe-to-toe. You do your whole Malga sim shenanigans, right? And then just sim wall whenever. I don't think that this was necessary here. I think TM actually gets juked here. Or TM jukes them. In fact, the only reason that Quartz dies is he gets a little greedy with it, right? Like he's peeking Sojourn ult instead of just using his shift. So we'll take the result, but that was a little bit fortunate. We should TP Kai to top and rest stays. That's not a bad idea, yeah. It's not a bad idea. Will this be a YouTube video? Yes. Thoughts on Hydran's wash status? I have no idea. I didn't watch the match. But I don't trust Reddit. People always overreact. Always overreact. People always overestimate and overestimate a player's impact. It was probably more of a team issue. But yeah. No, I'm not going to review the NA finals. I think I'd rather review like the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson body slamming an infant. Oh, that's unfortunate. Masa just dies. Does Masa get shot or does he just get clipped? Oh, he gets shot. Let me I guess we can talk about setup here. Setup here is okay. Masa just needs to live. To state the obvious. I don't even mind like the TP like little push there. It's just Masa just dies. That's just more of an individual mistake. Oy. Little bit of an overreaction here. Simwall's not all that useful, honestly. But I think if you're in, you're not too mad about that. Is there a rank you enjoy coaching the most, or just pro play the most for you? I don't know. I'm pretty indifferent. I like variety. I like coaching bronze players. I like coaching top 500 players. That's true. That's true. Better technique for infant body slamming. I think is something to consider for sure. Dude, I swear, Crimzo makes me just want to like gouge my eyes out sometimes. Like, what are you doing? Why are you getting what is this? Like, what is this? Is this This is so bad, man. This is this what it's looked like watching me play support, guys? Is this what coach mechanics does to you? Is this what coach mechanics does to you? I mean, there's just no off-angle control. There's no nothing. Everyone's hurdle. You're worse? Sure, man. Horrific ultimate use and setup there. Why wasn't Ghost in? I don't remember. Was it too late? There was a reason for it, chat. Like, wait, where's... A Crimzo should just not have been peeking. Like, not even... Like, if you're going to even start the cart there, then just fine. Then teleport out immediately. If you're getting a Suzu forced and then TPing nowhere, no. Yes, all right. Okay. I think Ghost is probably fine. I think what is unproven with Ghost will be made up by what Gunba thinks his like potential is. And Crimzo is like a write-off. The guy just subbed in. I don't want to beat on the guy too much. I mean, I definitely want to point out that he was definitely part of the reason why this felt so bad, but I think it's unfair to beat up on Crimzo, especially he's like coach guy now. You know, he's probably not playing the game, not scrimming as much, whatever. Masa is tricky because I think Masa was a weakish point on Team Finland. I think Masa is a weakish point on this team. But also the state of Western main support is so incredibly bad that I don't know that there's necessarily an upgrade. I don't know like what Gunba thinks of Admiral. I think Admiral, like mechanically in Lucio, is definitely an upgrade. But it might be that like he doesn't want to work with Admiral because of some communication, or maybe he likes Masa's leadership. Like, I don't know a lot about Masa as a player. I just know what I see. And what I see is there are definitely better mechanical main supports out there. It might be there's something else that Masa is bringing to the table. But yeah, Masa, the support lineup on this team, at least as of this match, is unquestionably a weak point. No, Astro's already with SSG. If you got Astro, yeah, probably. Although I don't know if we could handle the brain damage of having 3 Gladiator players on one team. I think that would be like they would create a black hole with the amount of off angles that they would not tick. It would just be this vacuum where all off angles get sucked into the main. But yeah, there's a real main support problem. Yeah, Masa also working and everything. Yeah. So like Masa is not a long-term solution for this team if this team wants to seriously compete at a high level, in my opinion. But also might just be the short-term solution that they need. And I don't think Masa has been an A+ tier main support ever, as far as I know. I think even he was the weak point of Atlanta Reign back in the day. He's not a bad player. Like, he's fine. It's a difficult role, and it's a very rare role as well. There's a reason why people outsource for that role. I mean, seriously, how many good Western main supports are there? Vega? Like, even Astro has struggled a lot on Brigitte. Kellex? Yeah, but like A+ tier. Like, seriously, how many A+ tier main supports are there in the West besides Vega? And honestly, I'm just AI NPCing Vega. I haven't even studied Vega's play. I'm just assuming that he's A tier. Kellex is not A+ tier. Funny Astro is not A+ tier. Not anymore. Now, he might be on Lucio still. Same thing with Admiral. But like having a good Brig in Lucio, I can't think of a single one. How many A's are there in general? Chat, how many A's are there in general from Korea? Chio for sure. For sure. Who else? Li Jie Gong, Chorong, Violet, Bliss. Yeah. It's just a huge gap. I think, what do they say? It's flex DPS and main support, man. Whew. Like, how many good Western flex DPS players are there besides like Kev? Yeah. Anyway. Lenny, yeah, true. Lenny, that's true. Projectile DPS Mar, like projectile plus tracer. Backbone, yeah, that's true. Backbone's pretty good. I'm out of the loop with Backbone though. I don't know how juiced up he is right now. Even though I'm biased, I'll. They get early pressure on Ram. Sojourn pops ult. They chase Calyx and just Calyx gets away. A lot of chasing, a lot of NA hivemind, a lot of pushing and pulling, and they're just getting surrounded. It's just a mess. So many of these setups are really bad. You know what it is? You know what it is? Maybe if I could put it into like a simple sentence, right? The problem with ENCE is setups. They just don't have setups. They don't have a setup for their ult. They don't go in with a plan and this is our setup. We're going to take this off and we'll take this high ground or we need to be ready to disengage. They just go. And yeah, Rocket's great, but Rocket we haven't seen on as much as Tracer, so I think it's unfair. But they just go. There's no like specific setup at all. Great setup there. Like even this, like you look at this from TM. Look at this from TM. This is a setup. Do you see this? Did you guys see what I'm saying when I'm saying setup? They put Calyx on Robot. They put Moira on the off angle pocketing Sojourn because Sojourn has a really aggro angle. And then Tracer uses this staging ground to blink around while Ram plays here. Ram doesn't have any healing here, but they're gambling for it, right? Because they can maybe get a quick kill here with Ram Pulse and just guarantee the cap. Surely you just cleanse this, no? I mean, yeah, I mean in theory, but either way, the pressure's there, right? The cooldowns are forced. This fight right here is like a great example of like what the difference is between the teams. And it's not just, not having a setup, but whenever there's any sort of setup, like a play, it's always as 5 from ENCE. Almost always. Almost always. Yes, this will be a YouTube video. By the way, you guys excited for this section of the map rework? I don't know exactly what's going to be. They didn't really say what's going to be reworked, but this section of the map is going to look a little bit differently. This is, I think, a pull setup. I think it's a pull setup. Maybe not. Yeah, because that was not good. Because it looked like they were set to kite this way, but then they used the Sojourn. There might have been a miscommunication here. It might have been a miscommunication because Quartz needs to not get sucked into this. And then they should have also been able to, like, in theory, disengage us, but they committed to it, and then Quartz dies because the beat doesn't come out fast enough. There was a world there where they could have easily pulled that one out. But yeah, the setup wasn't there. That looked like a miscommunication. Because if TM was going to take that fight there, there's no way they take it in the way that they were set up. So it's just as we got done praising TM, that setup was atrocious. That was a setup for a kite, not a fight. Pulls and let KSA die in cage? Potentially, yes. Yeah. Or you sit outside of cage and pepper it, break it, see if you can get him out. And if you don't, okay, let him die, retreat, retake back on main, whatever. Which and then if they over push to try and kill the 4, you can take, or the 5, you can fight them right there. Which team do you support? Yeah, I don't support any team. SSG would be the team, obviously, because those are the guys that I worked with. I like those guys a lot, but I'm just more interested in good Overwatch, frankly. I've never really been a big fan of like any specific team, even in Overwatch League days. Simwall, pull. Pull. Nice boop. And they punish the TP. So the push from Kev is too late there. I don't think they had teleporter yet. Yeah, they didn't have teleporter yet. It's like this... the level of team play there just isn't it. And also, like, I don't think necessarily Kai needs to be the one teleporting. I think Kai is probably the last one you want to teleport there. Likes to watch the wars, yeah. They showed the most since the beginning of OWCS all regions. I have not watched any of the Asian region. But I think Toronto clearly has played the best. Especially later on in their run. The level of like off-angle control, pushing and pulling. I mean, there's like players like they just play better, which is like not a surprise. You know, they have the most experienced, a lot of experienced high-level players, with the exception of Vega. But I mean, they just play better. Why didn't ENCE just mirror? Because mirroring's for cowards. If you have a better solution, you should be able to execute the solution. I got the impression from listening to Gunba that he was more concerned about this match being a lesson / a learning opportunity rather than a life hack to win. And also mirroring is not necessarily a life hack to winning either. Because are you sure that you could beat TM on these heroes? I'm not so sure. TM are really freaking good at this comp. They have a lot of practice in this comp. Mirroring is no guarantee to win. Cole push. A little bit of a kite there. Where does Kai end up on? Little anticlimactic, I'm not gonna lie, guys. What was that? What was that? I believe it. I believe it. TDs looked good in matches, though. You know, obviously, until we have cross-regional competition, all that really matters is Scrimbucks, so who knows? TM were the underdogs based off of name value, right? At least in the more in the West. Oh, nice little TP play there. Is this the first actually decent setup that we've had? Yes, with the exception of one thing. What's the mistake here, guys? Can you spot it? What's the mistake here? Kaya is on an off angle. Because main is here. You see it? Main is here. No, the cage is fine. It's a quick catch. Although notice how Yubi goes into the cage. Check this out from Yubi. He goes in, drops. Right? It's actually fine. The problem here is that there's too much invested off of this clear bait play. The cage obviously misses the most juicy targets here, but really, Masa and Kai should be putting more emphasis on catching this here. Like, you could have even seen Kai build rails, speed across, and just jump across here and just in. Because they're all kiting. So what happens is even when they have a pincer, there's more emphasis on the main obvious punch and not the subterfuge around. Yes, they're available for... I will drop the spreadsheet in chat. So it's too cheap of a kite.
60 seconds remaining.
You're welcome. Just like Vistola is like everybody's love child, you know? Like everyone wants to take care and give pets and love to Vistola, but Vistola needs somebody else to do something, right?
Not so fast. This ends now.
30 seconds remaining.
Just don't understand. These setups are just so weird.
2
Again, what's wrong with the setup? What's wrong with the setup?
This ends now.
Why is my Malga and Kiriko or Sojourn taking the same angle here? Why is my Malga not here and in the Sojourn behind? So what ends up happening is they bully Kev out because he doesn't have Malga presence or cardiac when these guys should be dying. The idea is there. The execution just makes no sense. Again, even when they're not going together, the person they leave behind is the least valuable person to leave behind. They're gonna need to beat this, I think. Maybe? What if they actually speed him out? Wow, that's crazy pull. Crazy pull from TM. Ooh, nice shot from Kai. Oh, he didn't get... Oh, wow, that's crazy.
10 seconds remaining.
Really? I think Slay's a good player. I think Slay has played fine this match, unless you're talking about other matches. Sim wall for Cole. Honestly, if you're TM here, just live. Court's on the flank, ladies and gentlemen. They're still down one, though. Kellex beat for beat. Doesn't catch Slay, though. Sojourn ult now.
This ends now.
Yes. Yubi gets picked again. Oh, he doesn't quite recall out. He's just about to recall. Wow, look at this. ENCE is able to maybe flip it here. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, that's going to be it here. I think respawn advantage here. Yeah. It's just too big of a hole. TM just needs a Winston player. I mean, depends on what your meta you're going for. Apolify, I think I didn't really see first series, but I can tell you right now that ENCE is like really getting kicked in the groin with lack of off-angle control. Like serious problematic with off-angle control and setting and setups, just basic setups. Like the composition that they're running, you can't afford not to control, like set. They can't afford to not set up. Whereas TM is not only
An interview with Gunba mentioning the rationale behind.
Yeah, I know.
his choices
Yeah,
for
I
this
heard the
match.
interview. I mean, I was there also when he talked with Commander X, right? This is, yeah. So we talked about it at the start of the review today. If you guys want to go back to that. But not only are TM setting up better, but TM is also playing a comp where the setups and like off-angle stuff is less important.
Market.
So, ENCE, yeah. So I don't know. Okay, I'm going to take 30 seconds to move around again because my eyes are hurting. So we're on map 4. Give me 30 seconds. You guys can drop any questions you guys want. I'll come back in about 30 seconds. Is this the last map we're watching today? No, we got one more after this. Thoughts on the mirror decision here? I think this is just GG give up. Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. I mean, you clearly, whatever you've been running before isn't working because you guys don't know how to understand how to play it. So I don't know if this was the players convincing Gunba or Gunba just throwing up his hands and being like, all right, we can't. We're just not doing what we need to do. just turn our brain off and do it better than them and hope and pray that it works. How do you fight the bridge wraparound on Colosseo? It's tough. You have to like try and play underneath the high ground without peeking it. It's rough. I think at this point, this is just them tossing up their hams and can't like they tried. But yeah. Hey, KVG. Okay, mirror time. A lot of push and pull here. Important to get good cooldown trades, good pressure. Setup stuff is still going to matter because having a better Sojourn or Tracer off angle is going to allow you to do more pressure on the neutral, more damage in the neutral. Yeah, so they get here first, which means they have like the high ground advantage here. So then TM's going to be like, all right, well, screw that. We're going to rotate to here, neutral position instead.
Unlocks in 10 seconds.
Kind of strange from KSAA here. I don't know what he sees here. I think this is a little bit of ego maybe going into this here, where even the shield is early, right? Shield's early. Vortex, he's in super deep trying to put pressure on backline. But meanwhile, Vestola's doing the same thing, but preserving his HP and his cooldowns a lot better. And so then they end up winning the cooldown trade here. Now, is this a 3-2-1 pressure? And then is there a flank from Yubi? Yes. So that's the strategy there. Int, enable Yubi to be able to take this flank for free. Which, to be fair, worked. So haters gonna hate. But it does cost KSA his life. Still, man advantage. They can retake the space here. They need to put pressure on Kev or Crimzo. There's the pressure on Crimzo. Crimzo gets Fade Forced. Moira diff. Kellex needs to live. Kellex does not live. But in the mess here, again, TM should still win this. You think Ram is better than Orisa, or is this the better... Ram is, I think, just an easier push-pull hero. That's all. Lives for longer than Orisa. Okay, so then they end up winning that one out. Then they're going to push. And Quartz gets caught in the crossfire. You know what I love? This is the TM weakness. Let's push. Moira's overextended. Let's keep pushing. And then we open ourselves up to getting flanked around from behind. You guys see that? That happened a lot in Nepal. That's the TM weakness, is they will see windows and then they'll overpush. And now they're committing coalescence to it. And then now, like, Kai actually gets forced onto an off angle. When Kai refuses to take an off angle, what do? You make him take an off angle by splitting him. Look. Yeah. So it's over pushing. Once you see the Moira there, just forcing her fade out means that the Tracer's now isolated and killable. You can just turn around. You push out and you're like, oh yeah, this guy's isolated. Let's go kill him now, right? But yeah, it's just over pushing from TM. A lot of over pushing from TM. And remember, that only works. This kind of stuff only works if Yubi's set up. So if I'm coaching TM here, I'm like, yo, we can do this, guys, but we got to make sure TM's on Yubi's on the cut, because we see this here, like Yubi's here, right? Yubi didn't have time to set up. Yubi probably didn't know that we were pushing. So Yubi now is no longer, and especially when Yubi's cleared, like, it's just not going to work. Hemorrhoid diff? What does that mean? Over pushing like they got, oh my gosh, you guys are awful. Push pull here is like really hard too, because you've wasted your coal so that you're actually at a brawl ult disadvantage. So then there's the coalescence. KSA is low. Nice boot from Moss. The Crimzo's pulsed. What happens here? Oh, Cremmy. Crem. Why are you fading? What did you get out of the fade, buddy? Ay. I'm sorry. We gotta bench Crimzo, y'all. Oh no. I think EMEA teams have a good chance at international events. Depends on the meta. Depends on the meta. Spilo in, Crimso out. Yes, I got it, guys. I can do it, guys. I'm the exception to the coach rules. Sojourn ult here. TM, I think, is giving up a little too much space here. They need to get a beat off here, I think. Well, or they're looking for space. And the beat! Cal-X is low. Wow. Man, guys, like, it's actually insane. Kai actually is doing things. He's taking angles. He's getting a little saucy with it. Yeah, nice. I mean, they also came into that fight with an old advantage, so you know. But hey, all right.
Next flashpoint.
I don't really know what the play is here. I think they're trying to like just go because they don't have ults, but did they see Quartz slide? Why are they pushing here? What has prompted this push? They do have the Tracer flank, so that's good. So at least they set up the push well. But oh, yeah. It's the risk of just pushing for the sake of pushing. They will be able to isolate Vistola because they do have... Yeah. Maybe? I don't know. This is just like both teams kind of just pushing, you know? Just pushing. Without really a rhyme or a reason, just kind of like, let's just go. They did catch the Sojourn on the rotation, though, so... Isn't a gold challenger Doomfist? Neither am I. What are you guys talking about? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Is KEVSTER set up for this? Yeah, but they're not really falling for the bait. Did Crimso fade? He faded, didn't he? Oh my gosh, he's got to be really careful with this. Slay dies? How the frick does Slay die? Or die? I think he just greeds his fate. Yeah, I mean, that was very kiteable. I think in general, maybe it's just because they're just... I don't know. Like, even here, like, KSAA is, like, really trying to flank around behind. Like, this whole, like, the whole pulling from TM has been really kind of ugly. The pushing from TM has been kind of ugly. This has been, like, an absolute, like, brawl fest. Really kind of sloppy Overwatch from both teams. Like, this has really been sloppy. Kevs gets clear. That's good from Yubi. Then Kevs loses the angle. So then they're going to be able to put Yubi on point, which is good. They actually don't even need to take the fight here. They can just chill. Slay doesn't have any ultimate, though. Can they force him to overpush a little bit? Kev goes to point. Kev gets cleared. They rotate out. Quartz is isolated, but that might not be the end of the world. It's a bit of an awkward rotation. Yeah, they're able to make it. They're able to keep the angles. That was all right. Does he greed his fate because even if he used it, he would have been out of the fight for ages anyway? I don't know. I mean, he just greeted his fate. That's it. It's sometimes not that deep. I think this match is going to be largely relatively simple push-pull stuff.
This ends now.
Again, here, I think this is really kind of silly from KSAA. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But even if it's just simply like getting your CDs forced and getting your, like, losing the HP trade, you know? Suffering. Pistol needs help. Beat. Pull. Beat for beat. It's really split, though. Sustain, push, and pull. There's nowhere to go. KSA's dead. Eventually. Oh, this is like agony to watch. I freaking hate this. Big pulse there from Yubi. Yeah, Ram versus Ram is rough. Better than Malga, but only by a small margin. I think in general, I would have liked to seen teams like be more interested in setting up their Sojourn in a power position and taking fights around that. Because the problem with these fights is that neither team really has a positional advantage, right? It's like both teams are fighting through chokes. Neither Sojourn has good LOS, and neither Tracer even has a good flank. Like, the whole point there is like it ends up just being a giant stalemate because neither Sojourn actually has a good angle to do anything. I think that's just really a selection of where people were choosing to take fights. But to me, it's like if you're going to have a giant ult fight, the longer the fight goes, the more important the Sojourn positioning is going to be. And it ends up just kind of boiling down to like, oh, well, we hit a pulse so that we had like one more ultimate than you. Yeah, it's like, exactly, it's like a thumb war. It's just like this war of attrition. KEVSTER, Tracer on the flank. No real ults here, but Kai's pretty close. Like, even here, like, the angles that Kai takes here, I guess is alright. What happens with Masa? The only thing you need to be careful about is Vortex. It's just so awkward. Like, the only risk of running off angles is Tracer and Vortex. That can't be done though. Like we have to be able to punish and support that. Nice stick. Soj. As long as Crimzo stays alive, Cole should be used now. Ooh, KEVSTER. Nice, Yubi. That takes guts there. Cole's used second. That's good. Now they just need to sustain and they should be okay. Crimzo lives. Nice fade. They need to put pressure on Slay. They do. Slay fades. Slay's not quite able to get out. And that was decent layering there from ENCE there. No, I think it's just a practice habit thing. Kai has never been smart when it comes to taking off angles or positioning. He's never been smart with it. And this, again, I talked about it earlier. Like, this is why he was not as good of a soldier historically. Like, you guys notice that a lot of the people that are like some of the old guard that's like struggled in Overwatch 2 are like a lot of like the hard hit scan players because you need so much more proactivity. That was questionable from Quartz. I don't know if he was expecting something there, but they knew they had beat and Ram. He's playing way too aggressively there. That was bad push pull there from TM. Had to pull that one. Had to pull that one. You had beat disadvantage and Ram disadvantage or Ram. They had Ram rather. You can't. Quartz is playing way too close. They're gonna meet. We're gonna meet with beat. They're gonna kill UB and that's it. Yeah. Really, just not great push pull from TM in the mirror, which is surprising. Something that you'd expect better from them. A lot of forced aggression. I don't think ENCE played it super well either, but at least with ENCE, it was more like minor complaints. But with outside of Crimzo inting a little bit here and there, like I think TM was not pulling. Like the whole old cycle there was like the layering and stuff was definitely noticeably weaker. I don't think it's no brain. It's like you need creativity. Yeah, exactly what Gabe was saying.
Ready for back.
Okay. Any last questions before we jump in? Because we are on final map here. Merit is the new John Sojourn. Merit has been John Sojourn since 2022, bro. Since the character's been released, Merit's been John Sojourn. Merit and Shy, and to an extent Proper. Merit has consistently been like one of the most terrifying mechanical Sojourns, top 2 or 3 in my opinion. John Winston, Merit, yeah. Lip, yeah, Lip's good. I don't know. I still might think Merit and Shy clear a little bit, but it really it's so close to tell. It's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. Merit and if you held me at gunpoint, my only half-educated opinion would be Merit or Shy. Maybe Proper's in that discussion or Lips in that discussion. Maybe recently Prophet has been doing okay. I think those are the 4 that at least deserve to be in the discussion there. And I don't think, I think there's like even a tier break between those and the rest of them. Oh yeah, Quartz. That's true. Quartz as well. Yeah. I think Quartz can definitely compete with those guys. I don't know how, it's impossible to know how good he is because like they haven't competed against each other, but I don't think Quartz can compete with those guys, in my opinion. Yeah, so that's an Ask Spilo question. Hydron, no. Although Hydron was really, I think Hydron was really quite good early in 2022 with Florida. I think he was pretty darn scary. Edison's just a system player. It's not to take away from him, but he's not anywhere close to as good mechanically, cooldowns, whatever, as any of the Sojourns that we talked about. He was not even, I talked about this already a long time ago, but he was not even anywhere close to proper skill level in Sojourn. He had like one good map, a couple of really good shots with the camera, but he was mechanically cooldown gapped from proper that entire match. In fact, Dallas was so much better in every position there. Their Winston was better, the Reaper was better, their Kiriko was better, and their Lucio was better. The only reason it was even close was because Edison was getting gapped. There's like, it's crazy to me that like, and even the team play, I think overall Dallas had the better play. But Edison's one of the greats of Overwatch League, right? And he had his moments, but yeah, I mean, not on Sojourn. Not on Sojourn. I think part of it has been because Super did that whole like John Sojourn video or whatever, right? But I mean, obviously Edison's gonna look good versus ranked players. On a meta? I have no idea, bro. Now? Maybe? I have no idea. Little things shape metas, y'all. Nobody knows for sure. This is just people figuring things out in one day and just throwing crap at a wall. You know? Who knows? Yeah, Edison's a great Reaper. Watch Whack versus Falcons. Maybe, yeah. Maybe we'll do that Saturday. The big thing with Ana is the fact that she can't headshot, bro. Like, the whole projectile size changes, that's the biggest nerf that she received, was the whole projectile size. Everyone can hit headshots easier except for Ana. And the easier it is to hit shots, the easier it is to hit headshots. And so the gap between not hitting a body shot and a headshot gets bigger. Is there any GAs in Overwatch esports? What does that mean? I don't think it's easier to hit sleep, is it? I'm pretty sure as far as we know, the projectile size stayed the same. Where can we get replay codes? I'll drop it in one more time here. Oh, gentlemen agreements. Not really, as far as I know. Okay. More mirror. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm gonna zoom through this one a little bit because this is one of the most boring mirrors in Overwatch. Slay just dies. Nice little timing there. That's one thing that they've been doing fairly well. Have someone pin the replays. Yeah, how do I do that? I don't know how the frick do I do anything. What do you want to do in the replay, in the mirror? This kind of, I will say that this is one of the interesting things about this mirror is that like the push and pull is really, really important. But one of the most important things to do is get your Sojourn in a power position so that your Sojourn's building rail and does more damage in general. So getting your Sojourn in for a passive advantage is incredibly important. So the team with the superior Sojourn angle is going to allow their team, but then also being in a position to push and pull cooldown advantages is really important. And they really like their pushes here. So what happens here? Like, you notice that like Quartz and Kai are fighting on this angle here. Kai gets a little isolated, slides out. I respect it from Kai. The only problem is that Kai just needed to make this slide out, you know? He gets stuck. Like, I appreciate it. It's weird to me that Kai's like actually taking an angle now, though. Like, I don't know exactly what happened. Oh, that's not a good beat from Moss. That's way too far. Way too much of an overpush. Way too much of an overpush, and they're going to catch. So that's a TM style overpush that we've been seeing elsewhere, and then TM kites that one out really well. Yeah, he got a little bit of vortex. Thanks, Gabe. Oh, Slay screws up his fade badly there. Kai? Kai, this is where like the push-pull is really important, where you want to start on an angle or rotate late. Kai gets his slide forced. Why does Kai get his slide forced? Here? And then gets pincered out? And then isolated? It's really kind of a beat difference here. I don't think what Kai did was necessarily bad. He just needed more pressure and more help. And then maybe if he'd stayed in LOS there, I don't know. That one's tough. That one's really, really tough. I think they just had a brawl at disadvantage. The hardest comp to play professionally? No. Goats was the hardest comp to play professionally because it was played for so freaking long that you had the capability of solving the comp. In terms of most punishing composition to play professionally, probably the Brig Zen Tracer comp with ball. Early push from TM. Nice little kite there. KEVSTER's able to steal cart.
This ends now.
I don't like this push from... this is going to be another pull. This is going to be another pull. This is why you have to like at least have some sort of neutral pressure. Even if you don't have an angle, at least some sort of neutral pressure. This is going to get kited so easily. At least KEVSTER's able to force UB recall, but then they might even overpush here. Like, there's a way that you could get pushed back in now. Kai on the angle. Kai needs support. Kai gets forced out of the angle, is able to catch UB on the disengage. But at least Kai is kind of sort of taking angles here. I wonder how much of it was just the focus on the Ramatra. Like, there's something, I swear there's something psychological going on there with the last couple of matches here, because I've been seeing literally double the amount of angles here. Really the only problem here is that I think the only problem I have here is that when Kai gets forced, like Kai doesn't really get forced out. And then Kai at this point in time really needs to be swinging deeper. Like, this is not the play here. This is what you do here. And you just laser and laser and laser, then plink down from here. So even when Kai is not inting, Kai still could be performing better. I think also as well, it's like, you know, you need to hit the rail as well. Because they had a man advantage there, and somehow they don't really do anything with it. And so when nothing dies, I think you immediately have to look at, like, what's the Sojourn doing? Yeah, he uses Faye to try and help Kai, but yeah. Is this the strongest comp right now? I would be shocked. No way. I don't think it is. Okay, panic touchers. They're literally calling just to make sure he doesn't Ajax, which is kind of funny. KEVSTER has to hit a pulse here. There it is. Remzo. Yeah, Yubi just cleans him up. Yeah, the fade was because he got isolated there. Okay. Yeah, I think you need, I agree. You would need to look but for the Tracer there. I agree. At least to get some pressure on the Tracer, but also the sustain, right? Probably going to be looking for a pull from... Yeah, are they going to pull? What's the setup like here? Yeah, the setup is not good. So if you're going to match with your Sojourn ult here, then you need some support on Kai. Kai's angle here is actually pretty good. But he has no support. So he's not able to deepen his angle as much as he'd like. And then Masa is actually isolated. You see that? Just poor support positioning here. Pistol was positioned fine to kind of hold the choke here. The initial Sojourn position was okay. But then I also think they should have rotated here with more support here. If you're not speeding your ram out, you shouldn't be on your Omatra. Or speeding your ram in, which there's no way that you'd be speeding your ram in that situation with the old economy as it was. Play slow. Maybe pull a Cole here. There's the Cole. They're able to kite it out, create quite enough, a little bit, just enough distance to be able to disengage that out. That's fine. Yeah, that was good. That was good. My only nitpick is that in general, nobody starts with Kai. They always run, fade, slide, TP to Kai. When it really should be that somebody should already be here. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody should already be here. I think it's Lucio. I think it's Lucio. I think like leaving your Moira with Ram a little bit is maybe okay, but I think it's Lucio. I don't think your Ram needs the speed here. The Cole, I think he just holds block anyway. By the way, check this out. This is pretty fun. While this is all happening, the Tracer mirror is happening. I don't think Yubi... Oh, he didn't have recall. Okay. I don't think it's always Lucio stack in the neutral. I think it depends. Slay. I think it depends. It depends on whether you need the speed for your tank to fully disengage or not. I think depending on the situation though, Ram doesn't always necessarily need it. So Lucio on Ram for like a full pull. But yeah. Early Cole. I think Yubi just went for the play. Nice shot from Kai. You need to get pressure on backline, force beat. They force beat. Next beat. Masa's trying to save it here, which is smart. They commit the beat a little bit later just to be guaranteed. I mean, was the beat necessary? Maybe, maybe not, but it's under the pressure of the match nerves just to guarantee the fight. It's fine. Kai early angle. You guys notice this again, though. It's like... Yeah, I mean, I think he was probably going to get cleared either way, but... and then this Sojourn ult's really bad. Like, this is where you'd slide back to main, get healing, and then do your 3-2-1 peek here with the Sojourn ult. It's again the same problem with, like, the setup isn't there. So they're in a position to pull Sojourn ult, but I don't even... Or pull Ram ult, like, disengage Ram ult. But I don't think Ram ult, like, deserves that. Like, you could always slide out from Ram ult. And the irony here is that he doesn't even slide out properly, and he dies anyway. Yeah, I think TM is slightly better at these push-pull kind of things. Slightly better. They do tend to over-push some. But, like, kiting stuff out, like ENCE is really bad at initial setups.
Seconds remaining.
Lack of beat hurts here a lot. That is true. That is true. But I don't think that that's even a problem. Like, you could very easily have kited that ram out with no losses and then pushed back in. Just no problem.
Breaking them down.
10 seconds remaining.
Kill them all.
And like here, I actually think Masa needs to be careful too. Like, I think that like Masa is the weak point here. Vistola's not. Like, Masa could be playing here. Masa could be assisting here. Like, we've seen a lot of these like push-pull situations that the Lusu gets caught with his pants down, right? Like, let Crimzo keep Vistola up and make sure that this doesn't happen to Kev. Yeah, he needed to disengage that one faster as well, but like, I don't know. Holes there. Is it disengageable? Yes. Good finish there from Crimzo. Masa needs to live. Masa will not live. You need to kill Slay here. Slay needs to die now. That's actually insane that he lives that. That is actually criminal. Yeah, we watched it, Numbnuts. Or Numbnuts. Beat engage. And they finish the kill, yeah. Okay, let's keep going here. Any questions so far, y'all? So it seems like definitely a little bit of TM being a slightly better. I think Kai's neutral angles are pretty weak still. And then when he does take the angles, he's not being supported very well. And then in general, some of the ult setups are also lacking here. It was not as crazy as you imagined. It was okay, but it was a good play. Yeah. Should Masa be only amping heals mid-fight? No. I think it depends on the situation. Depends on the situation. Your amp heal is like largely useless, especially with the ramp comp. It's probably gonna be more about like disengaging ultimates, engaging on ultimates, or keeping himself alive when he's supporting an angle, I think. I did not know this, chat. They ran the comp back. That's actually so funny, dude. That is actually so funny. Okay, well, this is it. We're going to find the difference between these guys. We're going to find the difference. Did they stick with it? Did they stick with it, chat? They do. So it's close, but they make it work, which is actually pretty funny because I actually think the Ram Moira Malga, this is like a much better map for the Ram Moira stuff, I think. Just because of how narrow and nasty things are. You don't really get the angles that you necessarily need. It's pretty easy so Symmetra can be run down on. A little bit of grief there from UB forces some Suzuage and early cardiac. But then they don't disengage it in time. Quartz Widow angle. What happens to Vistola? Does he get booped in? No, he just greeds. Yeah, Vistola just greeds. Vistola just greeds. Oh, they get a little cheeky with it. Oh no, they end, guys. They end. This is the TM classic. One fight disagreeableness. That's actually crazy. That's okay. They break the spawn camp. So the way TM has to play this is they have to find rotations to be able to run down Quartz and or force Cardiac before they use Shield, if possible, by either rotating onto Yubi or doing TP, like finding some sort of rotations on the Quartz. Well, the fight hasn't even started yet, so we're off to a bad start here. Maybe, Unito. I see your logic there. But honestly, I wasn't really impressed by the Orisa Echo performance either. So Steel cart. Kai is on the angle early. That's good. Fake teleport. That's good. Suzu's used. Cardiac is used. They're stealing cart. They kind of need to disengage this. I don't like this from Slay. I think, well, maybe you can live this. This is messy, though. Yeah, I think they're falling into sort of the same trap here, where I just don't know if you can push pull here very safely. They're grouped up. It looks like they're ready to disengage an ultimate, but then they don't disengage. And then if you meet these guys toe to toe, but you're all huddled into a small room, that's not going to work. Yeah, the cardiac might have been unnecessary. The Suzu there might have been fine alone. But yeah, it's kind of some of the same issues. Part of this is more map focused. Like the map is not providing them as many issues. But yeah, these setups have also not been particularly good from TM either. Double brawl ult, that's easily disengaged by TM. I don't know, chat. I don't know, chat. Maybe neither of these teams are good enough to play this comp. There's a TP flip. Suzu's Force beats used, but they're not able to get into the targets. Beat is used in response, then Nemesis or Annihilation. And Quartz could die here if he's not careful. Yup, Newbie's dead. And now Kellex is dead. Yeah, Malgal rides cart. Chat, this comp is too hard for this generation. Have you looked at any Korean games yet? No. We're thinking about maybe looking at the finals. Was it the finals that you guys were wanting me to watch? The Falcons one? Was that the finals? Fake TP. Cole is used. Kitsune. Trade. Again, just trade. Pressure's maintained on Yubi. Kremzo is a little silly with it. Oh, that was messy. Yeah, that was really messy. And again, Kai is kind of like left on his own, unsupported on the angle, and or doesn't disengage. A little bit of trolling from Kremzo there. Yeah, but what game was Falcons versus WAC? Was it the final, the semifinal? Replay code of the map is pinned. Fake TP. There's the sim. There's the burn on the Ram. Ram's low. Sojourn ult's used. They buy space. It's a fine ult trade. They have a different system for Asia. Suzu's used. Pulse is used. Beat is used. Beat is used. Good layering from TM. They're going to turn push on the Ram. They're going to force a lot of CDs. What can they kill off of that? Should be everything. Very messy fight. Okay, good enough. Probably have to disengage here. Can they disengage? Yes. They don't quite get the stomp that they want. But the Kitsune is better than the Cole of course of the fight there. Sojourn ult is used. Oh man, and Quartz just misses everything.
This ends now.
And then how does Yubi die? Oh, that's unfortunate. That is extremely unfortunate.
Seconds remaining.
So cage fight's coming up soon, and they don't really have a good answer for cage fight. Even beat alone isn't always going to work out so well. So they're going to wait out shield. Shield's used, let's walk. Slides used, focus on point. Cardiac's used early. Teleporter as bait, allows them to close the distance. They do have shield in response, though. They need to use cage fight early, though. Slam, cage fight, Sem, Ram's dead. Beat is late, doesn't work. Layering better there from TM. Call me a truck lover, that's great.
The payload.
Okay, this is the last fight, y'all. Another fake TP. Kitsune for Cole. There's the 180 on the Ram that we were looking for. Bestola over pushes into Kitsune. And get this as where Ram dies. Right there. That's something we talked about with the slam. If you can do it without the slam, it's even better. Is that it? Did they get a recontest? A good sim wall. Honestly, I'm surprised that there wasn't more aggression from ENCE there. I think that they had to try and one-shot somebody for that to work. And that's it. Yeah, I mean, this was... an interesting one to look at. But I'm not going to lie with you guys. Not a very fun series to analyze and watch beyond the first couple of discussion points. Pretty dull compositional mirror. The level of play wasn't really all that high either. Yeah, I think like I hope that you guys learned something from here. But this was a bit of a snooze fest, to be honest with you guys. Compositionally wise and level of execution was also super disappointing as well. But it is what it is. It is OWCS, so these teams are going to have a little bit less time to practice. The new meta shakes things up, so it's not a surprise, but it is what it is. Grateful that we at least had the replay codes, right? So obviously, and yeah, I learned nothing. Was snoozing. MVP. Hard to say. I think Yubi had a lot of good moments there, but also reading the kill feed, I would have to like study POVs more to like give you the real MVP. Make your own league then? Yeah, true, actually. So yeah, I mean, I think the big thing for me is just going to be like, what is going to be the evolution from some of those players? Are they going to be able to play these other comps that aren't just like 3, 2, 1, run it down? That's slated. Well, yeah, I think it's slated all right. Yeah. Quartz popped off. Yep, Quartz does Quartz things as usual. The Spy League? Yeah, true, actually. Yeah, I think UB deserves it. I mean, but yeah, I think definitely TM deserved that one. Team TM definitely deserved that one. The level of play there in terms of like the overall approach was just certainly better.